Okay, welcome to the first episode of our podcast. This is Michael Kuhlman, and I'm here with my friend and co-host, Corey Montoya. Corey, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
So we did a preliminary episode, and it went well. We covered a variety of topics, but
A hodgepodge of topics.
a hodgepodge.
I wouldn't say a variety, because variety would have touched on multiple, different aspects of life. Ours was just
whatever comes to our
took
mind.
a big lump of junk and threw it and saw what stuck on the wall.
Yeah. One of the first things we talked about was we have what we consider both to be like good conversation, and it's worth putting a mic up and recording and making content around those conversations because you and I have been friends for years and years and years.
Almost 10 years, I think.
10 years. And you just get really comfortable around each other, and we're very different despite all that. And I guess this being episode 1, let's introduce each other a little bit. So Corey,
Introduce each other. So you're gonna talk about me. I'm gonna talk about you. Interesting.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
No, go ahead. Let's see what you got.
Okay, so Corey is 29 years old.
Correct. Sorry,
I get that.
I'm not supposed to interrupt you.
And we sort of talked about this earlier, but the closest thing you would describe yourself as, like in just terms of worldview and how you have an outlook of your life, is kind of like a hippie, but you're just not that serious about almost anything. You're very likable. I mean, we go out and you're not even extroverted, but you're just liked by almost everybody. I mean, you have friends at work, almost everybody that you're friends with. When we go play cards on Friday nights for Magic the Gathering, like, you just know everybody there and everybody likes you and nobody's got a bad word to say about you.
There's people do that I beat, but
yeah, you just beat them up.
yeah, no, not that I beat physically. That I beat in the card game.
cards.
After I beat them, they don't have great things to say about me. But
Nobody says that. Nobody says that about you.
I think it.
You think it.
Oh, now they hate me after I beat them. Oh man.
Yeah, you're very aware of. You just want. You want to make sure everyone's feeling good and in a comfortable environment.
I want the best for them, yeah. And if that's what that means, that's important to me. But I wouldn't anyway.
It's very selfless. It's It's not, a nice guy doesn't cover it. You're not a nice guy or whatever in that way. You're just you're very good to people, and you always keep them in mind. And that clearly comes through when people go, "Oh, this guy's not about that kind of negative energy where he's aggressive or assertive back to me. He's just gonna be a nice guy and smile." And you just, if someone does you wrong, you kind of just okay and move on through
To
it.
a limit, yeah.
To a limit, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a should we call it stubborn side to you, or I mean, you have lines that if people cross multiple times, you go, "I'm done with you." Like, that is it.
Oh, I think that's true for most people, but
It's true for most people.
My line may be further away, or you know what I mean. My line may just be different than others, and I think different would mean I'm giving more people more leeway than normal.
But you like other people, other nice people that are nice to people, and that's your first impression, is not the world's out to get me. I'm here to be actively nice to other people. A large percentage of those are pushovers or passive to a fault. I would not assign that to you. I don't think you're passive to a fault. I don't think you get walked over. I don't think you get taken advantage of.
You used to tell me that sometimes.
Sure. Yeah, I did. I think I meant it.
Yeah, no, I know. I find it interesting that you have swapped your opinion on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, people change.
Okay.
Right?
I'm glad I have, because I mean...
You're not a good... This is a point to be made. Almost the worst person to see the changes of themselves is themselves.
Yeah.
Like, it's other people going, "You've changed," or "You're different," or the way they interact with you. Like, if you meet a new group of people and everybody treats you a different way, it's like, whoa, maybe I have changed. And they're telling you by their conduct towards you.
Yeah.
So
that probably goes true for, working out, too. Someone else is probably going to tell you, "Hey, you've been working out," before you're like, "Yeah, look at me in the mirror. Look at my gains."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. So you've kind of worked as a waiter for a couple years, and you did school. And what was your major during school?
I didn't have a major when I was in community college. It was just undecided. That's what I was. Or
Okay.
It was general studies.
General
Just what you had
studies.
to put like for something. You had to select one of the drop downs.
And you just selected
I had to select general studies
whatever.
'cause I didn't. Yeah, and I wasn't taking enough of the classes to be, to qualify to be able to pursuing that degree or whatever. If you want a math degree, you have to be involved and enrolled in
Math classes.
3 classes per term or that type of thing. So, when I first started going to community college, I didn't have a direction. Instead, it was just let me dabble in things and kind of figure out. Let me branch out and see what my options were. So I didn't really have a major.
Okay.
And then 2.5 years, took a break, then went back for 1 semester, and the major, I think I majored in education, and then I switched very quickly to history.
Should we describe that college that you and I both went to? It's kind of a
Let's call it
conservative,
a conservative private school.
conservative Christian college.
Yeah.
And
University.
We still know some people from there, and the people are fine, but we like them and we're still friends with them.
And
But
we knew them because of the institution we went to before that.
yeah, so Corey and I grew up and met at a.
We just met.
We didn't grow up. Yeah, we didn't grow up together or anything, but we met in high school at a conservative Christian high school.
Yeah, boarding
And
academy.
Boarding school. So we went to boarding school. That's a lot of topics to talk
Yeah.
about. Is just boarding school life because
Write that one down.
Yeah,
I'll write it down while you're talking about.
Yeah,
this
write
school.
that down. And so at boarding school we met, and it was co-ed. There were boys and girls, and I had been to a all boys boarding school before then, and so I was familiar with boarding school. But you went there, and then a couple years after that, we ended up going to the same college, living in the same dorm for a little bit.
It was like 5 years, right? More than that.
It was a long.
6 years.
It was a long time. What are you talking about?
From the time that I graduated until the time that I went to Southern, it was at least 3 or 4 years.
It was at least 3 or 4 years. But that's where we met in the conservative Christian college. I got into some trouble there.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly. We were both like, what are we...
Got into some trouble, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's...
According to the school, not
Yeah, yeah.
not like normal people
Right.
trouble, just...
vandalizing cop cars.
No, none of that. And then you worked as a server at a restaurant, and so you did that for a couple of years, and you worked, and then
I had a job 5 years prior to working at that restaurant. The same job as a lifeguard.
So you worked as a lifeguard for 5 years.
5 years before I had the job as a server.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a lifeguard at an indoor facility, outdoor facility. I taught all ages how to swim team. Swam, every other day. So I always consider my first job experience being as a lifeguard, not necessarily as a server. The server was kind of me coming out of my shell and being like, oh, I can get this person-to-person thing down pretty easy. I'll work at a restaurant, and yeah. So that was just me branching out. I was like, hey, there's something close to where I live, and it's a small mom-and-pop place, so it kind of appealed to me.
Was Ahi, the Peruvian restaurant,
Correct.
the first server job
Yeah.
that you had?
Oh, yeah.
And it's a tiny little restaurant
Yeah.
in
I
nowhere.
see surprise in your face. I feel like you
I-
no idea, huh?
Yeah, you seem like a natural as a
Oh,
server.
yeah.
Because I used to go to your restaurant and just sit down, and we were already friends at that point, but
Right.
we would just talk. And
Well, we were acquaintances.
it's right, we weren't hanging out.
Yeah, because we weren't talking to each other outside of, me graduating, you staying there, 2.5. I mean, we didn't talk until we saw each other at Southern.
Yeah. Yeah, Southern's the name of the small conservative college. I mean, we became friends we were both going to Southern, but we became friends outside of it.
Yeah.
Which was kind of interesting. But then you and I eventually left Southern, and then I went down to Orlando, and then I'm the one who I think got you moving from Tennessee down to Orlando, Florida, which is where we're living right now. And I've been here 6 years, and you've been here for what, 4?
Yeah, 4 years.
4
It'll be
years.
4 years here in January.
And you like Orlando, where we live right now.
I like Central Florida.
Central
Do
Florida.
I enjoy Orlando itself? It has its pros and cons, and I'll add that to the list because that's something interesting.
Pros and cons of
Pros and
Orlando,
of
Florida.
Orlando.
I think it's interesting because, there's going to be people that are from Orlando will find that conversation interesting, and then people who aren't from Orlando who maybe have visited
Find
once
that
or twice.
more than interesting, probably.
Yeah, because Orlando was this place where I had visited as a kid, and I loved it because it's hot, it's nice. There's Disney, there's Hollywood
Right.
Studios, there's
Yeah, you have
Universal.
this fantasy idea of what Orlando is.
And then you live down here, and it's just different. It's Florida, dude. It's the South. We're from Maryland. Maryland, I guess technically is the South, but it doesn't feel like
you keep saying this we thing. I'm not from Maryland.
that's true. You're from New Mexico originally.
I mean, 17. I was a child. My whole childhood was in New Mexico. Not until I turned 17 did we move to Maryland. So I was kind of already a child going into my early adulthood before I even got to Maryland, and kind of had this culture shock of, dude, this isn't rural New Mexico anymore. Hey, welcome to suburban DC. It's like, oh, hi. Hi, I'm Corey. How's this going? And yeah, that there's a whole story there, what certain events led to me, moving or going to school in Virginia, and then moving to Tennessee, and now moving to Florida. So a pretty big backstory.
Yeah. Were you born in New Mexico?
I was.
So born and raised until about age
17,
and then so that's
16, 17. Yeah.
that's where you're from.
Yeah.
Is New Mexico.
Right.
And then you went to Maryland, which is where I feel like I'm from.
Okay. But you were born in England.
No, I was born in Hawaii.
Oh, but you lived in England for like 5 years. Okay.
So, yeah, father's in the military, so just
Yep.
moving everywhere. And so lived in England for a couple of years, and lived in Virginia, then lived in Maryland. And Maryland was when I was 12, and we stayed from age, maybe I was 11, but 11 to 21.
Okay.
So I remember I was there for like 10, 11 years. I may have some of the details incorrect, but I just feel like I spent the most time solidified, did the most growing in Maryland from, third grade onward. And
Right.
you just meet all your friends, and those friends are still my friends today.
Yeah. Imagine when you're 17, you just set yourself up in Maryland, and you got to move to Florida. That was my experience.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's interesting because
just those different time periods where moving 1 to 17, living and then moving, and then you're also moving at 10 and then moving again at 21, like that just kind of uproots your whole thing. Luckily we had the internet nowadays.
Yes, I know. So I still keep in touch with some friends that I grew up next to, two brothers that just happened to, they were just my neighbors next door. And
I didn't even have a Facebook account until I got to Maryland. Like, that's just like, all of my friends and stuff like that on MySpace, that dies. You try to get on Facebook, you add family members, blah, blah, blah. You just don't have that digital connection that nowadays you can, I moved, I got all my friends on speed dial type thing.
It's easier to stay in touch.
Yeah. I had to make friends quick in high school.
And then, let's see, where were we with... Let's continue on with the resume.
Sure.
So you worked as a server, and then you moved to Orlando and down here and got a job as a server in a couple different restaurants.
Right.
And never because you got, fired or anything. It's just because
It's honestly like that. I was almost like the crux, or I was almost like the crux of what's the word I want here?
The
poison for the restaurant in a way. Like, I would start working there, and all of a sudden,
the restaurant would go down. Like, the owners would quit, or they would sell, and the new owner would not be good.
Didn't have anything to do with me, because I would have been let go much sooner than that. But it was always odd timing. It was like I would get to the restaurant, all right, it's going well for a year, and all of a sudden they would find a dip.
Yeah, and you're like,
dip off.
They're cutting everybody, and you're just,
all right,
you
this restaurant shut down. All right, move to the next one. Oh, yeah, it's going great for a year. Oh, and then it dies down. But I could chalk that up to just being seasonal stuff, and maybe some owners just weren't prepared for the seasonal type aspect, or the seasonal aspect of restaurants, where you just don't budget right, and all of a sudden
exactly,
it's not the fault of the employees, it's the money.
Yeah, so. It's the owners who have no idea what they're doing because they're new owners.
Right.
Like,
look at this property, I just got prime real estate. Oh, I don't have anything to sell in this real estate to pay the rent. It's like, oops.
Yeah. But also, restaurants have such low margins and such high variability.
Right.
So it's like
It's one of the worst investments you can make.
Yeah, I mean, the average restaurant does not last, was it a year or 2 years?
Yeah.
And it's hard to do. But you didn't even join startups. I mean, the first one you were a part of had been in
there
restaurant
for 10 years.
and they'd been there for 10 years and they closed down.
Yeah.
Because you got there, right?
Yeah. That was the timing of it. That's why it was so, like, not suspicious, but it's always like, oh, that's interesting. And then you get to the next restaurant, and it kind of has, like, its slow season after being there for about a year, and all of a sudden, now it's a drought. So, anyway. And
what
now
else
I work for a health institution.
Yeah. So you work for a hospital, and what would you describe your job doing? Is it exciting?
My job used to be giving people food. Now I'm trying to, like, keep people from getting food.
What do you mean by that?
I'm just kidding. I serve people food too.
Yeah.
It's I always describe, not always describe it, sometimes I describe it as a glorified waiter position because you're still waiting on patients instead of patrons.
So
whereas the patrons come in to purchase our food, I'm still serving people who are eating, but they're not paying for it. There's no money exchange, there's no tip, there's no gratuity. I'm not at your beck and call most of the time, unfortunately. But there's a lot more involved to it than just, giving them food, but I don't really want to go into it.
Yeah. What else do people need to know about you other than your general personality, disposition?
I'm fucking gorgeous. I'm just kidding.
You're good looking, I would say. Yeah. No, girls like you. Yeah, but that also might be due to just you have a likable personality.
You can't say a girl's like you because almost every person, a girl, or almost every guy, a girl likes them. You know what I mean? Like you.
No, girls like you.
Sure, but I think it's above average. I've never been approached by a girl and been like, "Hey, can I get your number?" To me, that's the type of guy that you can say that about. Like, oh, girls are, dig you. I'm not the one that gets approached.
Okay. That's not my impression.
Okay.
Because girls have asked me to talk to you, like back at Southern.
Sure.
Yeah. Like, we'd all be over at your house, or the house that you lived in. Let's be clear, it wasn't not working as a server.
Thanks. Just let me have the house, dude.
Just let me have the house. Just give it to me.
That was my house. They were out. These girls were at my house.
These girls were at your house. And, you were throwing a party, as you do. Just, at your house, throwing a party. And
I don't remember what that party was for.
For your birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
Goldschlager,
you remember that.
I do.
And
I've never had alcohol with gold specks in it. Like.
Yeah. Well, we got it off super bad.
Sponsor Goldschlager. Send us a bottle. First episode ever.
We are taking sponsorships from... We'll do an ad read.
Alcoholic company.
You just got to send us like a couple bottles, like
not even a couple, dude, just one. Hey, thanks for the shout out. We're not paying you for advertising, but
we actually learned that they have gold specs. We thought that was like not real or it's shit alcohol.
What do you mean? You actually thought it was not real? Because I've never before that instance. I had never been inside. What is it called? Liquor store. Why am I thinking ABC? What is ABC has its own?
Yeah, ABC.
Just a liquor store?
ABC is a liquor store.
Yeah, but that's what it's designated as, is a liquor store.
What does it stand for?
No, I know it.
It's just a liquor
bottling
store.
Company. America's Bottling Company. Anyway, never gone into a liquor store and been like, oh, let me look at this Goldschlager bottle. Oh, look, there's gold specks at the bottom? I don't think those aren't real. Like, literally, the person that brought it to me said, here, I bought you Goldschlager. I think she thought... Or she knew, I think, that I probably liked Fireball. So that's what Goldschlager is that cinnamon flavored. I thought it was delicious, but you shake up the bottle and there's these gold specks, and then you're like, "Whoa, we can't drink this. Get this out of here. Who's drinking this?" And you are. I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." You just take a shot.
Yeah. What stands
the gold
out
comes out in your poo.
Does it really? You looked.
Mm-mm. Every day, 5 days after that, I was like, woo! Let's see if I can see it today, boys! There it is! We found it! Get a glove.
I just remember that party because you had to, like, dodge between, like, what was it, like 3 different chicks of just
What's that? It was. Let me
At
think.
least that's my
It was
impression.
that one. It was that one. Yeah.
You're naming them
right.
in your head
Yeah.
right now?
Yep.
Okay, yep.
Yep.
And just, I remember as you were with one, like outside or whatever, the other one would come up to me and say, "Hey, where's Corey?"
Oh, no.
And I was like,
I don't remember this.
He's
occupied right now.
he's busy.
I think he's on the phone outside.
So, what does that mean? I don't know. That's what people need to know about you. That's a long introduction.
Yeah, and it's funny that you said it. Like, you were like, you look like, or you don't seem like an extrovert person. And I'm not. Like,
No.
I'm most comfortable when I'm just in a very, very small group with certain people. That's fine. But even then, like, I get to my limit on the amount of interaction I can have in a day. Like, if we have a tournament in the weekend, or we're playing cards, or we're gonna have a party, like, I almost want my alone time right before the party, and then right after that, or I just want to go into my room and kind of do my own thing. So, but that's different. I don't associate that public part of me with my intimate side of me. So, I can be out there, and then I can come home to my significant other, and I can spend the rest of the night with them, even just sitting next to each other, not even interacting. But maybe that's different. But I would definitely be an introverted person. So I guess I wanted that to leave as your last note instead of like, he's a party who just gets all
no, because you're not. You're not
a chill, laid back person, a hippie that I got.
You don't care what people do, and you are not like out to change the world, and you're not out to.
But I'm not a hippie that I'm just like lazing about and not doing anything. I like multiple different things in all sorts of areas of life, and I like learning about that stuff too. So I don't just like, I'm never not one of those people who specializes like, I go out and do this thing almost every weekend. This is just my thing always to do. I like doing a variety of different things.
Yeah.
Or at least learning them until I don't like them.
Do you want to introduce?
Sure.
Me.
I get to introduce myself, right?
Now let's. Okay, Corey, introduce yourself.
This is Michael Kuhlman. What is your? Do you know my middle name?
Your middle name? That's a good question.
I think I know yours.
Is it Andrew?
Name. No.
Then I don't know your middle name.
Okay.
What's your middle name?
It starts with a J.
James.
Nope. Close.
John.
Close. It's probably because they all start with J that I'm saying close.
It's not Jordan.
No. It does. It is J-O.
I already said John.
Yep. So,
Jonathan?
Character in the Bible.
Is it Joshua?
Nope. Very close.
Is it... Let's see. Joseph?
Yep.
Joseph?
Joseph. The shepherd. Is he a shepherd? I don't remember. It's been a while.
No, he the coat of many colors.
Right?
Yeah. So
shepherd.
Someone in his family is a shepherd, if he's not.
I think he was the shepherd, right? The story starts off with him being the shepherd and his brothers leave, and all of a sudden he goes out to feed
Wait, was
them.
that Joshua?
No. I don't know who Joshua
took over after Moses.
Yeah.
And
this is years later.
Was it
a millennia later, I think.
Oh my god. Joseph was definitely Jesus's dad.
Yeah, but there's two separate Josephs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Jesus. I'm God's dad.
You're Jesus's dad.
Jesus,
because God's Jesus's dad.
That's true. So me and God are brothers.
Yes, there you go.
Anyway, all right. So what's
you're Eskimo brothers.
Why? Because we both.
Yeah.
We both what?
Eskimo brothers.
Yeah.
Do you know this term?
Yeah, I know what Eskimo brothers is, but I don't remember an instance of God ever getting
how do you think Jesus got there? Immaculate conception.
Okay. So I'm gonna immaculately conceive a son as well? No,
that's not what that means. It just means you're Eskimo bros with God.
Yeah, but all right. What just?
Your middle name's Joseph is the point. What are we doing?
Do I remember your middle name? What does it start with? As soon as you say the letter, I think.
No, you know it. A. Michael. Kuhlman.
Alex?
No.
Alexander?
No.
Aaron?
No,
Aiken?
it's not Aiken.
It starts with A?
Yeah.
What? Abner? No.
No. What?
Aardvark? I'm going through the alphabet. Aardvark's the first. Holy shit. Anthony?
Yes.
There it is.
You got it.
You did.
Yeah.
I remember you actually meeting Anthony, and that's how I learned your first name. So
Yes.
That was only less than 2 years ago. There.
Well, the funny part about meeting Anthony, who's one of our mutual friends, is that his middle name is Michael. So it's like, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
you guys are like the same dudes. You both wear glasses.
Yeah.
He's taller than you, though, sadly. Anyway, Michael Kuhlman, you are... Well, how would I describe you?
How would you describe me?
I would describe you as a macho white boy.
Oh, Jesus.
Because you got, like, that masculinity that kind of, like, a little bit overflows sometimes. Like, you can... I always viewed you as kind of like energetic, pushy type. But pushy in a good way, because I still think you value people. You still have the same qualities as I do, and this is probably where we get together, is that you still care about people, you still care about probably where they're going in direction more, you're concerned about their future, you like hearing about their past, you're still a very engaged person. But you like to... You're knowledge enough about people that hey, dude, there's your button right there, and boop, I'm gonna press that button. I kind of know what it does, but I kind of want to see what happens when I poke that button. But you like to laugh, dude. You like to kick back too, but you're really busy. So what? You graduated. Can I say it?
Yeah, from Rollins.
Rollins. So
yeah,
you graduated,
which is a school down here
Correct.
in Orlando, right by Park Ave, which is a place you and I both
Yeah, this is
lived.
all comes back to the circles. Like, when I came down here, I lived with your parents. You were going to school. We got, you showed me around the town. Hit all the good taco spots. And what was the other thing that we always did? Oh, and we just hit the Enzian almost, every week.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that.
Yep.
The Enzian's a movie
Sure.
theater. It's just an awesome movie theater.
I'm writing it down right now.
They show independent films. It's in Maitland, Florida.
Dude, in 20 years, our podcast will be shown there.
Yeah. Once we get the video up.
Look at this classic, legendary podcast that started not 5 miles from this location right here at the Enzian Theater. Here is... That was silence for the title, because we don't have one yet.
We don't have one
with
yet.
Michael and Corey.
We can call it like... Is it cheesy to call it kicking back?
No, we can't discuss this.
Oh, we
in
can't
public.
discuss this,
Yeah,
right,
we don't want
right.
people to... We don't want to give the people the impression that they can help us name it, or,
No.
Although, text me for interesting titles. Text me. The voter, when they send out like what should we call it? What is it called? A poll. They'll send out a poll like, what should we name blah 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 blah, and people just send in the thing, and you gotta name it the top one because dude got thousands of votes. What is a good example of that?
What percent?
Recent, right?
What percent did Harambe win in the election?
Man. Oh,
like
man.
4% of the votes. Fucking millennials, dude.
That's exactly what happened.
Votes out for Harambe.
Vote for A, B, C, or D, and then E would be like, here, choose your own, and then all of a sudden, yeah, it's okay. That's when we start laughing. You have a lot of
energy.
energy, and stuff is bouncing out the walls. Yeah. So if I yell, these poor people. If you're listening to headphones, we are so sorry for our audio quality right now.
It'll get fixed.
Turn
the gain down a little
still
bit.
Trying to nail it down. All right, there's hopefully everyone can hear me messing with the mic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you graduated Rollins. You graduated with a business degree.
Business degree.
Yes, and now you're
In
pursuing your master's
2017.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that took you what 2 years powered through, and that was when I moved here. Halfway through that, so I moved here, going through finishing school, graduated, and in between, I guess, your years, you worked at a restaurant as well, right? You worked at the Briar Patch, and you worked at Olea?
Olea, yeah, which is kind of a startup company.
And these were just like summer jobs, just between classes, right? Or were you working the same time with one of them?
Did they
overlap?
I worked for over a year at Olea.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I mean, I felt like I got a good. When you work for somewhere over a year at a restaurant, like doing all the jobs, you get a feel for the restaurant.
Yeah, you get a good taste for it.
Yeah, a good taste for the restaurant. Yeah. Laugh at your own joke, Terry.
I'm sorry.
It's not that funny.
Part of the irony.
What's wrong with you? Yeah, so I worked there for a year. And then it's just, I was actually a manager by the end of that year.
Yeah.
At Olea. Not that it's hard to become a restaurant manager, but got certified.
Some people it is. So don't.
You're right.
Don't knock yourself down so far.
I just didn't think it was.
That's where the macho-ness of your personality comes in. Is like, you're going to show up to the restaurant and be like,
this is how shit should be run.
Do I want to be a dishwasher? I could do that really easy, and it'd be easy money. Do I want to work at the cashier? Nah, I can do that. It'd be easy money. I'm going to do all of it, and then I'm going to get manager. That's your personality type.
I don't think I worked particularly hard, or harder than anyone else, but the way I worked, it was like, oh, he can count cash register, and he can...
That's what I mean. You establish yourself as reliable in those other positions, and they noticed it, and like, when this person asks, other people could find themselves in being reliable in those positions, but they're not going to be the personality or the person that'll be like, hey, I'm doing this good stuff, I'm doing this good work, let me either get a raise or, can I apply for a higher position? Some people are just not that type. I'd say I'm not one of those people who's just going to be like, oh, well, I got this down, let me see what else is coming up. Sometimes I just like, I got this down, I can just chill here for a while. So that's what I mean. There's two different approaches, and your approach is going to be the more aggressive one. And I think you're more aggressive on the spectrum. You're also on the spectrum too, so we'll talk about that another time.
Are you trying to dig at me?
No, sorry. Sorry. Yes, it was a dig, but I apologize. It's not what this is. It's not just shooting the shit normal. I'm just trying to introduce you. I shouldn't introduce you as special or on the spectrum.
Thanks, bud. It's good to be, if you're not being, I don't want to call it aggressive.
Back yourself up now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it's normal to be, you got to get out there in life. If you're working, it's because you got to be there. So if you got to be there, you got to work. If you got to work, you might as well do it right. So if you do all those steps, you should get compensated for it. Whether that be, let me get better hours, let me do this job that I want to do better, because I can, and you get the rewards for it. At least you push for getting the rewards for it, because you got, like, ain't nobody in this world's gonna advocate for you better than you. Like, yeah, your friends and family and other people will, but they can only do so much. You have to put out what you want out of life. So
reap what you sow.
Yeah, it is reap what you sow. And of course, you can do it too much. You can push when you're not ready, and you can, demand things that it isn't your place to demand. And I've done all these things before, and I've learned from it. But you gotta be that way. If you're at work just to get a paycheck, that's an okay reason to go to work. But you gotta be doing that and more, because it's also your time. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that's.
I don't think it. If you're searching for an answer to that question, whether it's right or wrong, I don't think you will ever find it.
You're right.
You have to just kind of own it, and that's what you do. And you mentioned that to me 20 minutes ago and said, I just got to own what I got to do, and that's exactly the approach.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you were born in Hawaii. You lived in Hawaii for a couple of years?
Yeah, a couple.
Born and moved before
like a year and a little bit more. And then my parents went to Florida.
They moved to Florida, so they lived here before they went to Maryland, or then I think England, Maryland, and then ended up back here now.
Virginia was in there. So it goes Hawaii, for Florida, London, Virginia, Maryland, Orlando.
Okay. And where were you in Virginia?
In Richmond, Virginia.
Okay. Is there a base there? Like, is there close? Or are you Quantico or what?
Yeah, it was right. It was by Quantico.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it wasn't Richmond. It was Fairfax, Virginia.
Yeah.
Why did I think Richmond? So it's Fairfax. I was young, so it was like when I was 10 or earlier. So it was Fairfax, which is...
It's on the coast?
No. It's
along
by...
the freeway?
It's by Quantico somewhat. It might be like 45 minutes or an hour away. I don't remember a ton from it. But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You can prevent that from happening, right?
From it going to sleep? Yeah.
You should do that while I talk. Okay. Anything else, introduction-wise? You have a loved one that you spend a lot of time with. She'll come up later.
Yeah.
We're roomies. We've lived together for almost a year now in January. Actually live together. Roommates, we pay our own rent. We're not staying somewhere else.
Yeah. You and I have an
So
apartment.
we spent as much time almost together. We spent more time than that almost together doing random stuff combined, I'd say, than we have, interacted and hung out here at our own apartment sometimes.
Yeah.
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 But, it's 9 years chalked up versus one, when you live together. So we know each other really, really well now.
Yeah.
We used to know, we knew each other, but...
Yeah, no, I mean, you're basically a part of my family.
That's true. I have a key to Mom's house.
Yeah, yeah. You
should give that back, actually. She probably wants that back.
She doesn't care. She wants you to have it.
Yeah. Yeah, while I was staying there, I don't think she,
No, she
Corey
won't care.
can come over whenever.
Yeah, it's
Bother
like
the
that. You can
dogs.
come over whenever.
Corey, can you walk the dogs? Yeah, I got you.
Exactly. So I'm
Let
gonna
me Uber.
Yeah,
We'll hop in an Uber.
hop in an Uber. Yeah, no, that's another thing that people should know about you is that you do not have a car.
Yeah, that's a pretty big thing, I feel like.
It's a big thing about.
It's a big thing to you all the time. Every
It's
time
big,
you
yeah.
think about it, I feel like, man, Corey, you're gonna get a car, at least a moped, something. Get it right. How do you deal with this freedom?
Yeah, yeah. But that's back on you. I guess I'm actually more of an introvert more so than an extrovert as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to say by you being the aggressive macho person that you're extroverted.
Yeah.
That's just you in a conversation that you go to. If you were at the party scene, you may not be getting as many girls as I am, but you're
Definitely.
talking to them.
Oh yeah. No, I'm letting them know that.
Yeah, you're
You
there.
should be- who
you're
you
there
should
to
be
play the
into.
game. I'm just kind of like spectating. Oh, whoops!
Yeah.
I made it on the field. Whoa!
Yeah.
You're playing. Not to say that you are a
That's-
player, but
That's why I'm much better with a girlfriend because
yeah.
I like to know where it stands because it's either like.
Does that make you anxious a little bit when you have those interactions? You're like, oh, I don't know where this is going, or I don't know,
Yeah. I want it to be.
I don't know
over.
the signals that. Yeah. You just want to either yes or no. Just get,
Yeah.
Let's put the ball
listen,
in which court instead
I
of this
like
jump
you.
ball type thing.
I like you. I'm going to talk to you. You should like me because I got X, A, B, C, D. Like, these are all good things. If you're into it, you should be with me. Oh, you're not? Okay, great. Now we're done. Like, that's... And then I can move... And I get to know about it. Like, I get to know, oh, that's not an avenue worth pursuing. And it's worked out.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, you got a great girl right now.
Yeah.
So jealous.
Yeah. She's a great girl.
She is.
Yeah.
Do you want to segue right into that topic? Or you want to just bounce right to the?
Let's
Florida
start.
thing.
Let's start. That'll come up again
Okay,
organically.
sure.
Let's start from the top. From
the
our
top.
topics.
Topic number 1. We'll get these sound things fixed.
The soundboard.
Get the soundboard set up for next time. But for now, we'll rewind that. We'll see if it sounds like the first one. If it is, cut straight to tape. Anyway, we're gonna talk about Park Avenue, and you wrote this down. What, you were in class and you're just kind of jotting ideas.
Just
for this
jotting ideas
podcast?
down.
That's pretty much what most of these podcasts are gonna be. So.
Yeah.
Jot ideas down. We'll talk about it for as long as we want to talk about it. And the first thing you brought up was you have written here Park Avenue, but you wanted to just talk about. You kind of like briefed me a little bit about the bubbles. So in central Florida, Orlando specifically, you have bubbles, and you're saying that Park Avenue has a bubble and Disney has a bubble, and I'd probably say like. Close enough to that is like Tampa's bubble, and then different beach bubbles.
Miami's definitely got a bubble.
A huge bubble over Miami. Luckily, we don't get any of that over here.
No, I like Miami every time.
Keep
I've been.
South Beach at South Beach.
Yeah.
Just kidding, come up here.
Yeah, get that out of here. But also come up here. Bubbles. Okay, so like there's like this weird thing that when you go into certain rooms have this, and like certain locations where. Like if you go into Disney, so Disney, is it Disneyland down here?
Disney World.
It's Disney World. Jesus, I should know that. So Disney World down here, you
How
walk
long
in.
have you been here?
6 years. I've been to Disney once.
Me too. So
Yeah. There you go.
Let's high five that one.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
People love it.
People will spend so much time there.
They
Like
freak out.
Halloween Horror Nights is right now. And people are like, "Do you want to go next week?" And then we can go again after that, and we can go again after that. And the girl that I was talking, she's like, "Yeah, I went to like 8 out of 9." And I was like, "Yeah, but you went for the like employee pre-screening thing, and you went to all of them too. And now you went back. Like,
what is it about these parks?
I don't know.
Universal Studios.
I'm interested. I'm interested, but I don't. I'm not sure I'd be interested enough to be like, oh, dude, that was amazing. Let's go back tomorrow
again. You get discounts for being an Orlando resident,
right?
But like, so you can get in the parks cheaper. But I don't get why people go. I mean, it's hot down here.
People buy like a season pass.
They pay.
I'm gonna go
hundreds of dollars
multiple times a year.
Yeah, you get free parking, so that's good. But you like still have to spend all the money if you go at a restaurant or if you go
to just pack a lunch. I'm
Nobody
gonna take my fanny pack, dude. You know they sell like I was watching some stream. They sell like a oversized. It's like America, dude. You know, if we're gonna make something, we're gonna make it huge. So it's like an oversized fanny pack. You're just carrying around this little thing, and it's got this tie around for your waist. And you just put as much stuff in there as you want. I almost bought it for Magic, dude. I'm tired of carrying this backpack. We put this fanny pack so everything can hang over my balls. Keep those warm. You can just stuff sandwiches. You can probably put some ice packs in there. Keep those sandwiches cold, dude. You don't have to pay $50 to eat at a restaurant.
I don't think you walk in with food.
Oh, you can't. You stopped at the gate, dude. You gotta eat it before you walk in. Look at my fanny pack. I brought this from the car to the gate. All right, boys. Chow down. Here's your sandwich. What'd you get? You got a Reuben? All right, here's your roast beef.
Everybody's sitting outside the gate just eating.
We forgot we couldn't bring this food into the park. That's how they get you, though. You can't bring that stuff in. You gotta eat inside.
Yeah, it's like a movie theater rule.
I sneak. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I sneak candy into a theater.
Dude, movie theaters, nobody cares.
No, they
you
don't.
Walk in with
Employees
anything.
don't care. Managers? Are you paid to care?
I've never been stopped.
Yeah,
been
but
stopped?
how obvious have you been about it?
Like, not obvious. Like, I had it in Jolie's purse.
Oh, well, no one's gonna check
Nobody
a
checks.
purse.
Yeah. Nobody checks the girl.
Yeah, you can. Girls can bring like one of those beach bags.
Yeah,
they wouldn't question.
Nobody
it at all.
questions.
You got a blanket in there? You guys gonna spread out on the floor?
Yeah, I've taught her how to scream. Like if anybody ever like, can we see your bag?
What do you mean you had to teach her? She didn't. This is not just built into all girls to be like, all right, so I'm in a dangerous situation. What's the highest peak I can reach right now, or highest pitch I can reach right now? I should say.
Can I get back on topic with my locations? So the point being,
keep guiding this ship, dude. Just let it
flow.
Let it go. No one's touching the rudder at all. The water takes you where you want to go.
Anyway, the locations, you walk in, it's like a different atmosphere. It's a different feel. So Park Ave has that feel, and it's like rich, bougie, like.
Energy. I would back you up there. It's like you don't even have to walk. You don't have to be on Park Avenue. Just getting to Park Avenue, you kind of get like signs of like, oh well, you know.
This is the rich part of town.
Yeah. You're like, oh well, they got sidewalks over here. Like,
they got nice sidewalks.
They got bricks for asphalt.
Bricks.
The road is bricks. It's not asphalt.
You can reasonably expect to see at least one Aston Martin on Park Ave.
Aston Martin's a little.
Maybe that's a little high.
Aston Martins are like.
What, there's 350?
I'd say it's more likely you see like 10 Teslas.
10 Teslas for sure.
10 Teslas. 9 Lamborghinis?
Lamborghinis? I was going to say you see
8 Range Rovers.
You see Corvettes.
Like Corvettes.
A fair amount of Corvettes.
A consumer car.
Nice Corvettes.
Sure, but you went straight to Aston Martin, dude. Those were like upwards of 200K, like, and then you went back down to 75K, like, oh, that's a big deal. You see a Corvette.
I don't fucking know cars. I'm just saying stuff I've heard.
You definitely see nice cars there, though.
Yes.
And you hear them drive by, too. You'd be sitting outside a restaurant. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. It's really picking. There. That's a little bit better. We'll play that back and see which one's more. We'll see which one represents an Aston Martin driving by better. You ever seen that video of the guys trying to... one guy will make an engine sound, like they're at a rally race, and so they have an interview, and they have one guy who's going to make the sounds of the cars that are racing. So it's a rally. So one person goes. How a rally works is you have a starting time. You start, and your time is not done until you reach the end or you crashed, which most people crash. So when you get the end, all right, here's your time, and the next person's up on their leg. They'll go and they'll run the race as fast as they can and get to the end, and that's how you break down your times. Well, at the end, you got these winners, you got these famous drivers, and so they're having an interview. One guy's standing on the side, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna make the engine, and the video's looking at the drivers, and like you have to guess what car this is, and he'll do. It's almost every car that's turning over, starting, and so he'll make the sound like. And he'll make the sound like first, second gear or something like that, and these guys will guess the car, and what's more impressive is they can guess the car that this guy is making.
It's
with
just
his mouth.
beatboxing or whatever, like
almost beatboxing. It's almost the same.
He's making car sounds, and people are guessing, and they're guessing correctly.
Yeah, and it's like a Peugeot that's got like a certain engine. It's like a Ford Focus that's got like a rally blah blah blah.
Do you know I have a coworker that we used to live, or we used to have our offices right by a major like Orange Ave, and cars would go by like regular cars, and I'd be like, "What kind of car is that?" And he would name it like perfectly.
Yeah, but how were you able to verify that was correct?
I'd look out the window, and he was right.
So you were right. You were by
Six
the window.
times randomly.
You were by the window and could see outside. He was not by the window, but he could hear.
So a couple factors.
I'm just trying to establish this guy's validity,
so,
because he can just yell any card name and you don't verify what it is. I did. He got it right. How would I know? I didn't look outside to verify, but he got it right.
I checked probably 6 times to verify, and he was right every single time.
Okay. And you stopped asking.
He said it with such confidence that I believe him. I don't know if that's good evidence, but to me it was real. He's not like wrong.
Yeah.
He knows his shit.
Interesting. I'd want to put him to my own test, but
okay, put him to your own test. He would pass. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what else about Park Ave? It's just let's describe it. It is a street that's a couple blocks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's almost like 8 blocks.
9 blocks.
Small blocks, not like huge New York blocks, but
and kind of like old style buildings, all one level. Like there's a couple buildings that are.
Most of them are 2 level.
Okay,
some of them
2
are 3.
stories.
Yeah.
But it's not like skyscrapers.
Right. Yeah, you got 1, 2, maximum 3 stories on these. I wouldn't say like historic.
They're kind of historic.
Street.
Yeah.
Because most of the buildings I feel like have been either remodeled extensively, especially not even the restaurants themselves. I feel like in order to get people to live above them, which most of these restaurants have like a living space above it, whether it's a loft or a 2-bedroom apartment or blah blah blah. Most of these places, in order to get people to live above there and even consider living above a restaurant, I feel like you have to make those places pretty nice.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you got to remodel because that's pretty old Orlando style. I mean, Winter Park is one of the first cities, right? Because it's right there on the tracks. I feel like
Park
that's
being one of the first cities. I know Winter Park's old.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It's one of the older cities here in Orlando. I think almost anything along the tracks, the train tracks, is going to be one of the OG cities.
Yeah. It's old Florida cities. So over 100 years old. Maybe 200 years old.
Yeah, and I feel like those buildings have been remodeled into oblivion, so to say they look old kind of misleads, because nowadays you can look on the outside and
they look nice.
Yeah, look at this nice-ass restaurant that I'm about to go pay absurd
$100 for 2 people.
Absurd amount of money to
or
eat
more.
At. Yeah. Those are the best kind of bills as a waiter on Park Ave.
Yeah.
Woo, just dab on that $20 tip. Woo!
I went to the table 4 times.
I had to try. You guys good? Cool.
$20.
Walk away, because I don't want, you don't want to get in their conversation, especially if it's on a date or, they're there to hang out with you. You don't want to. Anyway, everybody knows that. You don't bother your table. Just make sure they're taken care of.
The servers that just want to talk to you.
Oh, man. They don't get very good tips, probably. No, they probably do. Because actually they go to the restaurant.
If you engage.
Yeah. And here in Orlando, when you have, like, the snowbirds. Oh, we can describe the snowbirds.
That's a phenomenon that hits us.
That feeds into the seasonal part of Orlando that I was talking about, as You can describe snowbirds because I think you know a little bit more about it.
It gets super populated here in the months of maybe September, October, till March, April. Old people come down to their houses.
People.
They're just old people. Senior citizens come down with their money, and they go to Park Ave, and restaurants are booming, and the college that's on the end of Park Ave, which is Rollins, is got all the students back in August and September, and these people just they like to go out to restaurants. They like to go to cruises, and they have their house in Orlando, and then they
got their little shitty little yappity dog walking around with them.
Dude,
it's probably in their purse.
Park Ave dogs, hundreds of cute girls with their yappy little dogs in their fucking purses.
I walk around with my big Doberman. Oof! Look at me. Walking around with my Doberman. These little dogs out of here. Yeah, you want to meet this guy? He'll eat your thing for dinner.
How many times have you and I been on Park Ave, and I go, hey, look, this guy's good looking. He's walking past. Be on the watch out. Be on the watch out. And then, like, his girlfriend or wife or whatever comes by, and she's, like, super hot. It's like, got him. Like, you got to watch out for, like, good-looking guys, because then there's always, like, a hot one right after. So we look for the hot girl right after.
It's like hunting. You're like,
it's like hunting. It's like,
there's the
telltale sign.
Wait, there's the fawn. That's the meat you want. Shoot that one.
Oh, jeez.
That's what you do in Florida too, right? You go fucking hunting.
Yeah, I've never been hunting.
Never been hunting, dude.
I don't want to
really. Yeah, I don't really want to. My friends, you've been in the shooting range though, right? Jolie took you to the shooting range.
Took me to the shooting range.
How many times?
For our second date, she took me to the shooting range.
And you haven't been
one time.
One time. So we've only been one time. Did you hit the target?
Yeah, a couple times.
Okay.
Not in the middle. I didn't bullseye it.
I bullseyed mine on the very first shot.
No, you didn't.
I guarantee.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, my friend.
You should have just stopped.
My friend David could. Yeah. I should have put the gun down.
That's it.
Right, you paid for these 20 bullets, but I'm out of here. And you're driving. Because shout out to Don't Have a Car. He drove me. Anyway, so we kept shooting, and I think I made like 5 out of a clip, or out of I think he bought like 30 bullets. I made 5 out of the 15. Not bullseye, but the first one is in the target. First one is in the head. The other ones were tags. A total of 5.
I had awful aim. Just awful.
We should go.
Yeah, we could go.
I enjoy the shooting range. You're right. It's like $20. $20 to rent, and then $20 on top of that in order to get all the bullets.
It's expensive.
Yeah. For a hobby that you don't get anything.
You don't walk out of there with anything.
I walked out of there with my target.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with that?
I showed people that I shot someone in the face on my first try. That's what I fucking did with it, dude. Come on, think outside the box.
Right.
Dude, but that one time I went to it had sentimental value. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm Eskimo brothers with God, so therefore I'm good with a gun.
Jesus. I hope no one.
Jesus, my son. Why did you bring him up?
I hope no one listens to this. I hope 0 people tune in. So what else about Park Ave?
That has its own kind of like unique bubble compared to the rest.
It's got like a New York fashiony type of vibe.
I'd say it just has like the bougie vibe of any area. You're gonna get people who come in and they got money. And what does money and people usually bring? Usually, I would say, or the people that I get to, what?
Just hotties.
No, I mean sure, but that's not
always
the case. With more money, sure, you tend to be better looking, but that's because you're able to take care of yourself, or you pay people to tell you how to take care of yourself. One or the other.
I don't care how it comes.
As long as it comes hottie. I would say that it comes more with like the negative aspects of that kind of the attitudes that brings. So people come with money.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you got this personality type or this way of doing things. You're like, oh, I expect this and this and this, and if it's not done in this time, or if it's not, to my liking, then I'm not paying for it, or you got this always holier than thou, or I'm better than you attitude, and that usually comes with that type of person who's like walks in and like, I got money, I own this
Expectations.
place. Yeah, everyone is here to serve me in this restaurant, in this boutique, in this shop.
Yeah, it's
I'm
almost
gonna
like I'm bringing lots of money just to be here, so you better serve me a little bit. It's like
A lot of Karens.
yeah,
You know what a Karen is?
a Karen. Yeah, what's
You know
a
what
Karen?
a Karen?
What's a Karen?
So Karen is like, if you ever read stories, mostly on Reddit, where I've read, actually exclusively on Reddit, where you're a choosing beggar. So you'll come in to a restaurant or to wherever you're going, and someone will look like they have a uniform on, or someone will look like they work here, or they just expect you to work here, and they'll approach you and be like, "Hey, I need you to find this thing for me." You're like, I think it's over there, but I don't work here.
You
And
don't
then
pay
just,
me.
Yeah, you just turn around and go back to what you were doing, and all of a sudden they just keep bothering you. Oh, they bring a manager over. This motherfucking employee doesn't want to help me. Blah blah blah. And it's like, ma'am, this guy doesn't work here. What are you doing? And we call that a Karen, or like, it's a mom also.
It's like a certain type of mom that
Yeah, it could be a mom who has like kids and they just run around doing fucking nothing, whatever they want. And the mom's just like, hey, stop it. And it doesn't follow up. And the kids are still doing whatever. That's a Karen.
that's a Karen.
Yeah. So
Karen.
These are Karens are self-absorbed. I don't know. We should come up with a acronym. Why Karen stands for Karen.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. Cruel and rude.
Cruel doesn't start with K, but okay, that's a good start.
I know it doesn't start with a K, but we can just change Karen to C instead of K.
Okay. Cruel.
Because what are you going to start? What's K? I didn't see you starting off with anything hot.
Well, I didn't come up with this acronym idea.
Alright, we'll skip it.
Skip it.
Anyway, that's the kind of people that I feel like show up.
Knowledgeable about. Can you say retarded? Or no? Knowledgeable about something and nothing else.
Knows absolutely
Yeah.
ridiculous. I was gonna say information, but you don't spell Karen with an I.
We could. This Karen does. Knows absolutely something about nothing. Knows absolutely.
It's E-N. Karen.
Yeah, you're right. About
Knows absolutely
nothing.
ridiculous.
Knows absolutely. Knows absolutely nothing about. This is. Forget.
We'll come back to this.
Yeah,
We'll come back to
That's
this.
a good one.
Karen acronym.
Karen
write that one
acronym.
down.
So there's a lot of Karens in Park Ave.
I'd say that was my experience working there. Is like,
Yeah, just middle-aged ladies that.
well, it didn't even have to be like a woman. Sometimes it can be the guy. Sometimes it can be the kids that are just,
Yeah, there's a
they just
different
got
name.
this- yeah. But occasionally you get the nice people. I mean, it was always a fun.
Would you say the
interaction with
majority
nice
of people on Park Ave were nice people?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the majority of the people that I got to interact with on Park Ave that were visitors, I'd say were pretty nice. Mostly employees were nicer, but that's also because I was an employee, so I was probably just considered a part of that circle, and you're just automatically gonna be treated a different way than a customer would be. And most visitors saw me as a staff person, and that also affected, how they would, or not a staff person, but someone who worked there and is a local, so I would be treated in a different way than they might treat someone who is also a tourist, just like they are. And that just goes into the kind of like classes of people and systems,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, there's definitely.
what do you think about
Yeah.
this class or this class and blah blah blah. So
Yeah, there's like that old way of viewing things there, where you feel that as a server you have to be more polite, or you want to get out of people's way, or like people that own stuff can just, like, if you're managing a company or you're the owner of a company, you could just get what you want. You just walk down the street, and I just get that vibe from people.
yeah, and I got that bad vibe too. Like I keep going back to it, but it was mostly a bad vibe for me. Like, this business guy walking around, with his head buried in his cell phone, whatever he's doing, he just barely
Self-importance.
Yeah, and he just not walking on the right side of the street, doesn't care about whatever's going on around him, is not going to be like a gracious person or I use gracious, but I think that's the
Yeah.
best word to describe
No, that makes
where
sense.
you're interacting with people around you. So you move out of their way, you're kind of ebbing and flowing. You're aware of your surroundings.
If you're walking across the street in Park Ave, you don't care about what the cars are doing. You just walk. That's the vibe of what people do. And it's like, they don't care that there's cars going up and down the street. Like, use a crosswalk.
Cars will stop for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what they what they say.
And when they don't,
It's a problem. Or you just look at people and
you just stare at them as you walk by.
Yeah.
And then you walk into a pole like, oof!
like that one guy.
That video
saw it.
really fun.
I saw it. What else is interesting about Park Ave? What does a typical average Park Ave person look like?
You ever seen the You ever seen the statue of David?
Statue of David. Yeah.
Just chiseled abs, little peen. And you got the legs and the feet, and they're just sitting there, and he's just fucking chilling on his chair. That's the image of the average viewer or average visitor to Park
But
Ave.
with like,
But not a little peen, probably.
just like a button down and loafers.
Yeah, I'd say most people are pretty casual. You know, you get here to Florida,
They're like
and you're
business
all of a
class
sudden,
casual.
Look at my white skin that I haven't seen the sun all year. I can bring it out down here in Florida because it's nice. It's 80 degrees outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although in the winter it gets pretty cold.
It does not get pretty cold here.
It gets pretty cold, dude.
It gets to be what temperature does it get to be in the
45 is pretty cold, dude.
45 degrees on the
Pretty
coldest
cold, dude.
the coldest,
The coldest
day.
day of the year is pretty. I'm bundled up, dude. I can't handle that. I don't go outside if I can help it. Stay inside with a heater.
It's 45 degrees like 3 days out of the year. The rest of the time it's
At night.
60, 65 minimum.
No, I guess it gets almost to freezing, right? No, not at night.
At
Ever?
3 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not
so it
when
still
people
gets
are.
to that cold. I wake up 3 hours after 3 a.m. So
Whatever.
Give me some.
Whatever.
by the time you wake up an hour later, it's already jumped 10 degrees.
Whatever.
I think. I'm pretty sure.
Do you want to move on to the next topic?
Sure. Park Avenue was boring.
I thought it was kind of interesting.
Topic number 2.
Okay, for topic number 2, we're going to be comparing the years from the 2000s to this past decade. It's 2019 right now, so, you know, what do they call them, the naughties?
The naughties?
Yeah, so I've heard that. The naughties. The year 2000 to 2009?
What about 2010? Is that part of...
2010?
Are we in the last year of this decade? Yeah, I guess so, right? 20 would count as... 20.
You want to throw 2010?
No. Yeah,
In-
no. It's 10 through 19. That's 10 years.
Okay.
00 to 09 was
The naughties.
Why
Yeah.
do they call it the naughties?
The naughties, because it's, you call it the 10s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. And then 0, what do you call it? The zeros? You call it the naughties. Because it's not. Not is 0.
Right.
So,
I was thinking, when you said naughties, I was like naughty, like N-A-U-G-H-T-Y. Naughties.
is that how you spell it?
Naughties? N-A-U-G-H-T-I-E-S. The naughties.
The word not means 0.
N-O-T. Not N-A-U-G-H-T is
Oh.
like an old way of saying like not.
Oh. Like, I don't know how exactly it goes.
It's spelled.
Yeah, that's what I've heard it referred to as. So, you know, the years from the 2000 to 2009 were like way different than now. But I don't think people talk a lot about the differences between the two decades. And you and I have clearly lived through both of them. I'm 26 years old.
I'm actually dead, so I didn't
You're
live through
dead. Okay, so you're 5 years old in your brain.
I was halfway through the teens, and I just passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go from there.
I was alive for these past 29 years.
And so how is it so different then? Like, what stands out to you from that decade to now? So like like pop culture is what
Dodged a bullet there.
dodged a bullet there.
We definitely can't call this no filter because I gotta put on a filter sometimes in the
Yeah.
things. I say.
Good. Put on a filter.
Um,
Don't put on a filter. Take it off.
I was just gonna say something really, really. Anyway, what is the difference between the naughties and the teens?
Yeah,
It kind of blurred together for me. I
blurred
guess.
together for me too.
Yeah, because that was right. Again,
What do you think was better?
I moved when I was 17, so I was right. I had barely experienced the early naughties, and probably well, I guess not. I guess we started to have a PC in our home. We started to have a gaming console. We were involved more with electronics. All of a sudden, we got the internet here. We got online multiplayer with the gaming industry, and that developed or that kind of set the foundation on kind of who I am now. Is like, hey, I like these games. I'm gonna get more into it, and then you got the online community, which kind of set it totally different.
Yeah,
you used to just have to play with your brother at home, and on a Nintendo 64, and I'm just gonna grind hour by hour whenever it's my turn to play the Nintendo. And I'm just gonna grind this by myself.
Yeah, you were beating games on levels.
Yeah.
But the naughties introduced World of Warcraft is the biggest thing that you and I sort of skipped. We never were super into World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
but Warcraft 3 was a real-time strategy game I was super into, and I think that came out in 2004. And so I was playing that a couple years after it came out in 2006, 2007, 2008. I just remember that being huge, and I'd play that for hours. Or online games like Maple Story, or which is an MMO side scroller, kind of very Japanese.
I always think of the beginning of a multiplayer on a console as Halo.
Yeah.
Or Halo 2, I should say. The first time matchmaking came into something big. I think we talked about this.
In Call of Duty, Call of Duty for me and Halo for you, just these first-person shooters, that the appeal of the game was, I guess, playing through the campaign once, but whatever.
Right.
It was playing
Getting
online.
to the multiplayer. Yeah, let me play with my friends, against my friends, teams, Let me shoot real people in the face. Or, real players who are playing the other players instead of, I'm just playing the computer or playing NPCs or stuff like that. So added that extra challenge of this person's good. And obviously that set the stage for competitive esports nowadays as well. But
Yeah. Well, what about pop culture, the way movies were? I remember living in the 2000s going, things are so much different than they are from the 90s. But then I go back and watch stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's barely a difference between 1999 and 2004 movies. If you watch a romantic comedy,
as far as the technology, or as far as the overarching tropes, or
the way people dressed is what stands out to me.
How they are costumed in the movies that stood out.
If you watch a guy in a movie in a business suit in 1997, it almost looks the same as 2004.
The ties were different, right? You had you used to have this little small ties, and then you got to the 2000, all of a sudden they're like, dude, that skinny thing you used to run down the
now it's a real firm tie.
Put a giant ass tongue on the front of your chest,
yeah.
And
Yeah.
look at this pattern I can put on here.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I didn't like the big ties. I had a few, and you get to I got to when I was 18.
It doesn't work with your body type.
And I saw all these, I started to see modern fashion. And I was like, this giant tie looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
Who let me buy these?
You rock the thin ties, right? That's where you go even now.
Nowadays,
if you have to wear a tie.
Yeah.
I don't like ties.
I don't like ties either.
I mean, nobody likes ties, but I don't wear them. If I'm supposed to dress up formally,
yeah, you wear a white shirt that doesn't have the V-neck, so that you can see the white shirt peeking above.
Yeah, that's my move.
Yeah.
That's my move.
That's the Michael move.
That's the Michael move. And I just wear a button down, and I unbutton that top button. No tie. Because I try to subtly give the idea that I'm formal, but I don't want to play by these tie rules. What are we doing here? I have respect for whatever I'm doing because I'm dressed up, but not that much. I'm not crazy. We're here to party. We're here to we're not here to take it too seriously.
What did you wear in your early church years? What would you wear to
I would wear a polo from Abercrombie and Finch. Or American Eagle. Finch
is a person or a
Fitch.
bird.
Abercrombie
Fitch.
and Fitch.
Yeah.
Because both are birds.
A finch can be usually is the last name of a person or a bird. Yeah. But Fitch is not a bird. Fitch is a person's name as well. So is Abercrombie. They're both people.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
But it has a bird on it.
No, Abercrombie and Fitch does not have a bird. It's an elk.
Oh.
Oof.
Oof.
I'm wearing it. I was wearing it. I had that shirt.
You could have showed me?
Not safe at work. Yeah, it has an elk in red on it.
Oh, okay. So that's what I would wear. And like...
You got away with the polo?
Yeah.
How old were you when you were first able to start wearing a polo?
Young.
Okay.
Way young. Maybe 6, 7.
I had to wear I almost had to wear a button-up shirt for a majority of the time that I went shirt. I wasn't wearing the tie, and most of the time it was untucked at the top. But eventually I wanted to wear the suit. So I would get a suit and I would dress up. I have the shirt and I have the tie.
From a young age.
Yeah. Probably since I was like 12. So for like a solid 5, 6, 7 years, I was wearing a button-up with a tie. And eventually I got to that rebel stage where I was like, all right, I'm going to wear this flaming button-up shirt. And I kind of got away with that.
That's a 2000s move.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
like
I had highlighted hair. Yeah, I highlighted the tips. Yep. It looked cool back then.
Yeah, anything looked cool.
Anything looked cool back then.
I look like the boy band. Ooh, highlighted tips.
Yep.
I wanted to get highlighted tips, but I never pulled the trigger.
Yeah, it was 2006.
Yeah.
That's about the age I did it. That was cool. And then I just felt like one thing I did realize is that I thought movies had reached the ultimate perfect quality in the 90s. Like, I was watching movies and I was like, we can't get better quality picture than what we have in the 90s.
Like definition.
Yeah. The way, like, I was like, people are dressed modern. People are, the way they talk and act. It's like, if you see stuff from like the 50s, it's like grainy and like, I remember I watched, what's that one? Shamu? Like a movie from the 80s. It's a pretty low budget movie. Like Shamu or, it's the one about, dolphins. What was that one called?
Dolphins? I remember Shamu. I don't remember dolphins.
Shamu was the killer whale.
Yeah, Shamu and the Return of Shamu or something.
Yeah, and those were like quintessential 80s movies.
Sure. Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie in the 90s where we would watch that and it was a little bit more modern.
And I just remember looking at those movies like, this is old, but the 90s, like, this is where things... And then the 2000s, it was the same. And then I look back at stuff now, there's a clear difference between 90s attire, movie. I can almost tell if a movie was in the 90s versus early 2000s, and then, like, 2000s was, like, a jump in
right.
quality. But
well, you get to the end of the 90s and the early noughties, you see a little bit of crossover. But if you look at like early 90s to late noughties, you're like, all right, there's definitely a difference. But I think that transfers to also the noughties into the teens. Is like 2009 is going to look very similar to 2012.
I don't even differentiate. Like, it was weird to think that Obama was a president in 2008.
Yeah,
because he feels like a 2010 onward president.
Yeah. I mean, that's also a president that you identified with and that was president for 8 years in your coming of age years. Like, that's going to be something like, oh, I learned about government. Who is my president now? As a kid, you're like, I want to be president and I'm going to do it. And then all of a sudden you realize that you don't want it.
Yeah, you don't want it. I would not want that job.
I would.
You would want that job.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do well.
Probably not. That's why I won't ever be president. But I'm eligible in the next 5 years.
Cool. Yeah, you gotta be 35, right?
Mm-hmm. 6 years, I guess. I won't age myself that much. I'm not 30 yet.
What about like, so the bands that were hot was like...
NSYNC. Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears stands out as such a solid naughties figure.
Linkin Park.
Linkin Park, yep. Limp
Green
Bizkit,
Day.
I can't tell you what Limp Bizkit looks like, or the band, or what kind of music they have. It's like
it
new
like
metal.
That typical grunge band. Like, they got
no,
spikes.
Grunge is different. Grunge is from the 90s. It's like Nirvana.
That's almost the same style as Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit kind of like... Okay. I feel like Limp Bizkit is a little bit more grunge compared to the rest of the, like, just plain rock scene. But then they transfer into like System of a Down and Linkin Park and those.
My
people
Chemical
too.
Romance and all the emo scene. Dude, there's a lot of emos.
But that's an emo scene. I wouldn't consider that like the pop culture rock.
No kids in high school are like emo now. Like nobody. They act like emo, but not like black makeup.
Oh, no one's goth.
Yeah, or not goth. Goth was like almost 90s with the baggy pants.
But that's what emo would be. Even
But emo was no, but emo's a different thing. It's like a transition. But emo was a couple of years later. Like in the year 2000s, there was My Chemical Romance with the skinny jeans, the Green Day, the way they look.
Painted your nails.
Yeah,
use,
we knew people like that.
Eyeshadow.
I had friends that were like
them
that.
goth. I didn't necessarily call them emo.
No, there was a difference.
Sure, there's a subtle difference, but it stems from the same thing. You can't call
it stems from the
preppy
same
kids
thing.
in early 90s not preppy kids, or a different word, I should say, in the noughties. They're still the preppy kids.
So goth kids.
I guess goth is a style. Preppy is more of a.
No, but this like Breakfast Club level. So you're right. The goth kids were kind of like, they turned into emo kids.
Mm-hmm. They were still wearing black as much as they could.
It was more.
It wasn't about the baggy like rock.
Screamo,
like,
dude.
Yeah.
Screamo. That's a thing that was only in the 2000s. That wasn't in the 90s. It's not now. That I'm aware of. I mean, it was popular. I mean, it probably still is.
I'd say it's a growing community compared to what it was, but it didn't explode onto the scene like it did in the noughties. Fucking 90s naughties.
Yeah, but I mean, there was a moment of time for like 6 years where that was like music. That was, dude, MTV itself was, I guess, a thing in the 90s. It was big, but it was like it really hit its stride in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Reality TV shows.
Yeah.
What were the reality TV shows? There was the one with
the remodeled homes one.
No, that's this decade.
No, that was 2005.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. Because that's when I was watching TV. I haven't seen TV for the last 10 years.
I thought like you talk about HGTV and like the Property Brothers and all that.
I'm talking about Home Makeover. It's like 2007.
Okay, Home Makeover was 2000. Yeah,
I consider that reality TV because you got fake reality construction. Oh, we did this in 3 days. Oh, look at us stressed overnight. We have to work. I'm pretty sure you guys.
They would create a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
For like nothing. It's like, aren't you on TV? Like, you could film this out for 3 months during the construction process.
Coming back from vacation, we gotta do this half-ass job.
I remember the Iron Chef was a show where it was like the first early cooking show where they brought on if you thought you could beat the Iron Chef, they would have like him holding a fruit like a peach or something, and it was like he was a serious Iron Chef, and you could challenge him, and if you were a top chef, and they had this real intricate kitchen, and you had an hour to cook this meal, and then I remember, I don't know if this is true, but I remember the judges had blindfolds and they would eat the food and try it. That detail I probably made up. I don't know, but like I just remember it being super dramatic, lots of steam, lots of and like it was this was the early days of reality TV shows in that way where they could hook you on the commercial breaks. So it was like, up next, we'll see, and then they show someone dropping the pan of food, and it was exciting.
Oh,
I was
gotta
like,
stick around for that.
Hurry, fast, get the popcorn. And sometimes they would beat the Iron Chef, and then they get it. It was significant because they would bring like a couple different fruits or a knife or something, and so they could have their picture taken, and then put up on the TV show like banner in the background, and you're the new Iron Chef.
Oh, so you get to come back the next time, and they have to be you.
Yeah,
the new challenger.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's scripted or not.
King of the Hill for cooking.
It's like King of the Hill for cooking, and that just was so dramatic. I remember
How about
loving
sitcoms?
It. Yeah, sitcoms. They had those in the '90s, but they were a different thing.
Yeah, and like you had Friends from what, '90s?
Friends. I think of as a '90s show. Do you agree with that, or is it?
Sure, but it still went late into the noughties. Like 2005 is when the last season, right? Like 10 years or something.
I don't know for sure.
96 to 2006, because it stopped pretty soon after we started high school, or before we started high school, I want to say, or while I was in high school. I feel like it was the last season.
It was a popular show when I was when it was still on. Like I remember watching it. That's a stupid statement. Of course it was popular. Like it's still popular now. But the point was that like
it's not really actually. It's only about half of all Netflix viewership.
Yeah,
it's all right. It's doing all right for itself.
Every girl our age is watching all of Friends. Has seen
reruns. That and The Office, man.
Dude, The Office rerun. The Office.
I need to rewatch that before it leaves Netflix. It's not on Netflix. It is on Netflix. It's
leaving very soon, so you got to get on that.
You got to power through some.
Office. Yeah. Someone said like
Netflix and Joe with The Office.
No, that's one of the topics for later is Tinder experiences.
Oh, okay.
So just hold off on that, Corey.
Well, that'll probably meet by the time at the rate we're going. That's probably like episode 4. So maybe by then I'll have some better Tinder experiences. Not even Tinder. Dating app experiences.
Tinder's stuck around.
Nowadays. I looked at a Google sheet the other day. I don't know how this came up. I think it was a Reddit clickbait that was like talking about, or it showed data on whether it was downloads or usage of these different dating sites. And I was showing like OkCupid, which is one of like the really popular ones, is almost like 5% usage, and the rest of them like Tinder and Hinge and I think it's called Bumble.
Yeah,
there's a few other, and they're like thousands of upward trend in usage in the last 5 years or something like that. So I don't know why.
Yeah, what they do?
I'm not sure what it did wrong. I think my theory would be that it was almost too, I wouldn't say intrusive, but it wanted you to share like a lot more information in order to get like a quality match. Because on Tinder, the experience
you had to type in a lot of stuff for OkCupid. You had to type in like
you didn't
about
have to,
me.
but it helped.
You needed to. If you didn't, it was like swipe right,
swipe right
or swipe left or whatever.
Yeah, it was just the basic, hot or not type thing. That's funny that hot or not was
hot or not was like Tinder, right?
Hot or not, I feel
it was like on the computer.
Started? Yeah, but was it started by what's his name?
Zuckerberg.
I can't believe I'm not sure that story is true.
I don't know. Dude, we were around before Facebook.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy to some people. Like
some kids. It's crazy to some kids.
My brother.
Think about it, they didn't get it till like 2006.
Well, my brother
if
doesn't.
They're old, right? If they're alive right now, and they did have Facebook when they were born, then they're like 14, under 14. They're still kids, so they're not really.
That's why they don't use Facebook because that's for old people. Facebook is for like is the generation above us, like Gen X and above. Gen Xers are on Facebook. At least that's perception. I don't know the actual numbers, but
what's for kids nowadays?
For kids, I heard that it's like TikTok.
TikTok is just a chat app, though. It's not a website that you go and post things about your life.
But the kids are on their phones.
It must be Instagram.
The kids are not on their computers on social media. They're on their phones.
Sure, but you can still get the Facebook app.
Yeah, but they don't use it. Yeah, I think kids are on.
Who knows?
Don't ask me.
We'll interview a kid.
I don't know what the
we'll
kids
interview a kid this one of these episodes.
Dude,
we'll go
that'd be interesting to interview someone who's like younger. Because just see what the fucking world's like.
His name? AJ's kid?
Marco? That'd be awesome. How old do you think he is?
He would not. Oh.
Is he 8?
He's younger than 10, yeah.
Is he 8?
You'd not be able to get that kid to sit still.
We could do a 20-minute podcast with an 8-year-old. That'd be funny. That'd be just get his insights on. Be funny. What do you think about this? Like quick topics.
I don't know. I just like to.
Can I go?
Yeah. Are we done? Done.
We should like play a game of Magic with him and just get him interested and just like get him talking.
You just kind of like suck the information out of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, trick him into be like, oh yeah, talk about it. Oh, is it my turn? My bad.
We'll give him treats every time he talks more.
Here's some candy. You just have a clicker all of a sudden. Click, click. Click, click. All right, we're asking you a question. We want an answer. Oh, you answered? Click, click.
That's funny. No, someone a little bit older. But like, my brother is...
Too old.
He's 17, but like, he would... My brother would be a funny podcast person to bring on just because 17, I mean, it's a different world. Like, it's not that different from you and me. That's 10, give or take, years of difference, but it's like totally different. It's way different out there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to have different experiences. He's going to be comparing the 10s to the 20s.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
we won't even care.
I hope we will still be comparing.
Maybe.
some of our years.
Maybe.
Papa bless. Keep me alive.
Keep me alive. What else about the naughty? So sitcoms, that was a big one. Any other sitcoms that stand out to you?
That 70s show?
That 70s show? That
One
was
of my
in...
favorites.
Yeah. I've never seen a single episode.
I know. I noticed you were kind of like, when I was watching it the other day, I noticed you were kind of like, wasn't familiar with what was going on.
I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a 90s... No, it was a early 2000s show about the 70s? Or I thought it was a 90s show.
Yeah, it was a late 90s show into the
Okay.
early noughties.
So that was like Friends in that respect.
And you started getting like animated stuff a lot more in the noughties. You started getting like, I mean, I know The Simpsons was running for a while, but you started getting Family Guy and American Dad and blah 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 blah. What was
South
the big
Park
one?
got big.
South Park, that's the one.
I know it was a 90, but still, it got... I mean, all these things were a lot.
But South Park was still late 90s.
Yeah, but it got its significance in 2006, 7, 8.
Yeah, right. Sorry,
They had a lot
being
of those... This
pop culture
reminds me,
relevant.
in Comedy Central was a TV show, or sorry, a TV channel that was big. I don't know if it's... I mean, it's still a TV channel now, but I don't think it's as big as it was in the early 2000s.
Well, and I think that you can chalk that up to cord cutters as well. Like, not
Yeah.
many people are subscribed to cable anymore to
Yeah.
like take those numbers into account. Now everyone has a subscription to one of the major things in order to watch the show that they want to show or watch that's not being produced by a major broadcasting company.
Do you think times are changing very fast?
Yeah, they continually will. They will continue to change at a much
So if you
more rapid pace.
If you have a large company, how do you pivot to the next thing? Because you don't want to change, because what you're doing right now works. So if you're running a TV channel on cable in the late 90s and early 2000s, you're doing well. If you're MTV, if you're Comedy Central, you're doing awesome. How do you pivot to anticipate this online? Everyone's going to be cord cutting. Not everybody, but a large percentage of your paying base is going to be cord cutting, and transition that to online.
I think that depends on what level you're concerned about. If
Sure.
you're like the owner of the company, then you're just selling what you're making anyway to a different person. You used to produce this show, shoot it, or write it, shoot it, produce it, I guess?
Yeah, you
Or
produce it. Yeah.
polish it, and then you would present it to someone who's
Yeah.
going to either buy the rights to this show or they want to show it on their channel. Nowadays, you're just doing the same thing, but you're sending it to Netflix or you're sending it to Hulu or whoever else is.
But
wants
it's a
to buy that
different, it's a
show.
totally different way of doing things. Like they shoot, I'm not sure they shoot a pilot and then send it to Netflix, and then Netflix approves it, and then they're able to
Yeah, it's
shoot
much
it.
earlier in the
It's-
phase than that.
It's like, we're going to approve you for 0 episodes or 10 episodes. Go. And then they approve it.
I think you still have to bring.
You got to bring a concept, but
Yeah.
I'm not. The day of pilots, I believe, is dying. Pilot episodes.
Whereas pilots, as in you, all right, we got the concept, we got all the people we're gonna do. We're gonna shoot one 30-minute episode that's supposed to air as 30 minutes. We're gonna shoot it, and if we finish it, we cut it to 30 minutes. We show it, and if it doesn't do well, we're not doing the show anymore.
Yeah.
That's what a pilot is.
That's what a pilot is.
I think that's definitely done.
Those are done. Now
Yeah.
it's a concept, and this is our crew, and this is what we've delivered, and it's pitching the idea, and this is going to be, here's the first season.
Yeah, they
And then-
commit to a season
Yeah.
before they commit to a few episodes.
And that's definitely had a noticeable change on how shows operate now.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to be watching episodically. You can't just catch it on.
So many people will be like, all right, I liked the first one, let me get 2 more in. All right, I'm done. I'm checked out. So then they don't watch the rest of it if they're not, if they're not continuously sold on the concept, or they're not interested enough in the story or whatever's going on throughout the rest of the season that, they don't watch anymore. Whereas it used to be before that the content was so much more like slow that you would kind of get sucked into the first, 20 episodes, and it turns out this season's, 30 episodes, and you may not watch the last 10, but you still had 30 minutes of viewership on that show on TV.
Yeah.
Versus
They got you at that point.
I'm going
Now-
to turn on 3 hours. I'm kind of bored of this show. I'm going to switch to something else.
It upped
But
the
you're
game.
still on the platform.
It upped the game. Like, you have to have a good episode 7 now. Whereas
yeah.
you could just have good and bad episodes, and kind of just phoned it in. Maybe not, but I feel like a lot of shows had ups and downs, like even popular shows. The Seinfeld in the 90s, like they had some bad episodes.
Sure. I think they probably had like bad seasons too.
But nowadays, like, you better be pretty good. Is that am I wrong?
It's vicious out there.
Do you think that's right though?
That
Every episode's got to be good?
For nowadays?
Yeah.
No.
No, they have some bad episodes in the middle of series, but the series has to be good. Obviously, you know.
Yeah. You got to start strong, you got to finish strong. And if there's stuff in the middle, it's kind of just like that's just chalked up to like, all right, we had to do that in order to progress the story or to progress the character or to get background or to blah blah blah, whatever reasons they have. But I still think as long as you start strong and you finish strong, you'll get people to be interested. Hopefully keep committing, and then they want to see the end because what happens at the end, you know.
What are some of your favorite shows from the 2000s?
See, I guess the time thing for me, like,
sure,
when did a show actually end or start?
Okay,
you know,
just from you remember you being in that. So you were how old were you? 10?
I was 10 in 2000.
10 to 20. So age 10 to 20. What kind of stuff did you like to catch?
I actually wasn't watching much TV from 2000.
You stopped watching TV?
I didn't really start watching TV. We didn't have cable growing up.
Wow.
So we had local channels, and that was it. And for us, it was wake up on the weekends, if we could, wake up on Saturday, and we didn't have to go to church, which was...
Yeah.
Or once in a blue moon that we didn't go to church on Saturday.
Yeah.
So we missed Saturday cartoons in the morning.
Okay.
So that was it. So the stuff that we would watch on TV was Friends. It was Frasier. It was... House. It was Alias. We didn't watch The Simpsons because my parents didn't like it. We barely watched That 70s Show. My dad thought it was funny. My mom did not, so we weren't allowed to watch that. But very soon after that, I think, again, like I said, that myself and my two brothers, and I discovered what was it called? StarCraft.
Yeah.
So we had a PC at home.
So you just stopped watching shows, started playing video games.
Yeah, stopped watching shows, started playing video games, and
that happened to me.
How it went was we only had one PC, and I had two younger brothers who also wanted to do everything that I wanted to do, so we had to break it down into hours. I got the 1 hour, then whoever's next, blah, blah, blah. We'd rock, paper, scissors to see who started. Hopefully we were all able to get even number of turns until the end of the day, blah, blah, blah. Mom would tell us to take breaks. All that breaks down is like, if it wasn't your turn to play, you were finding something else to do, and the TV was being used because the person was playing the game. Yeah. So I don't remember what I did outside of the games. I was doing something by myself.
But it wasn't about that. It was about, I'm just passing time until
it's my turn again so I can go fucking kill that boss or whatever it was.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
I remember for me it was like, oh man, what were the shows? What was that one with Kiefer Sutherland?
24. Yeah,
that was a good show.
Yeah. I would say like almost every major show in that time I had probably seen, but I wasn't someone who was like turning on the TV every week to be like, oh, here's the next episode. We maybe did that if my parents were interested in the show, and then we can't play games because we have to watch this show with our parents.
I liked Adult Swim.
That was too late for us.
I was watching it during that time period.
Yeah.
You mean it was on late at night?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would go over to my friend's house and watch it. I would watch Adult Swim.
I didn't have any friends as a kid.
You only had your brothers?
I only had my brothers and my mom.
It's good to be friends with your mom.
Of course.
Yeah.
I need to call her, actually.
Yeah. Go do that.
Right now?
No.
All right, bye.
No. Not right now. Later, though. Yeah, Adult Swim, and... Let's see, what else? I watched a lot of National Geographic.
Interesting.
I watched a lot.
I didn't know they had it's a channel.
Yeah, National Geographic
green,
was
little
a
yellow
channel.
Box.
And they used to be. This is everyone kind of knows this. The Discovery Channel, National Geographic, and Animal Planet. I used to flip between the three channels. Animal Planet was always third because they were the least interesting, but sometimes they were the most interesting. But it depends. But Discovery Channel and National Geographic, they always had something good on. And it was like documentaries, it was like hour-long, exciting documentaries, the whole thing, they would just tease out before commercials. They would just tease out, stay till the end to watch this, the big reveal.
They wouldn't even tell you to stay to the end. We'd be like, coming up next.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't show up next.
It wouldn't
And
show
you
up
have to
next. Exactly. They would lie to you.
Come
Straight
back
up.
after commercial. Is it going to show up now? Coming up next.
Yes.
Boom. And you're like,
Yes.
all right, 10 more minutes and we can watch it. And it would not show up. And you have to get all the way to
you
the
had to
end
sit
of the
there.
hour.
Dude,
They
TiVo.
tricked you, dude. They got you good, huh?
TiVo, when that came out in the
Oh my God.
late 2000s,
I forgot about that.
TiVo was awesome. you could I'm not going to be there during that show, so I'll record it.
My dad would hog it all to himself for the
yeah.
football, dude.
I paid for this, and you go away. And I remember the day that you could only record one episode at a time, and you couldn't change the channel when it was recording. And so one time I screwed up Dad's baseball game, and I changed the channel when it was 3 minutes left in the game, and he comes over and, what are you doing? And he was so patient, but it was like, this fucking kid. Like, how dare you? Like, you couldn't look up scores that easily.
Yeah.
Like,
you had to wait for the newspaper to come out.
Yeah.
Check.
No, I mean, like, this wasn't like, I mean, we had computers and cell phones and stuff, but it's like, you couldn't just instantly check something.
There was a video just on Reddit the other day of like a newsroom, or it was like a daytime talk show, and they were talking about the internet. And the people who were hosting the show, one of them was like, "What is the internet?" And they had to talk to someone that was recording for the camera guys to explain what the internet. It's a bunch of like universities who are talking with each other, but everyone can use it. And he's like, What would we even use that for? Like, you can just call them on the phone. It was like, oh my, this was like early 2000s too. Like,
do you remember when adults didn't know how to use computers?
Sorry, that was late 90s, not early 2000s.
Yeah, but like, I remember being young and I had to
knowing what was going on.
Yeah, I just had to figure out computers, and it wasn't hard for me to learn.
Oh, I have to defrag my machine. Yeah, I know how to do that.
I have to
uninstall this program. I know how to do that at the root.
I had to teach my parents.
Yeah.
Like, my parents aren't old.
Right.
Like, they're 50. Like, they use computers every day at their jobs and stuff. They know how to use computers now. They've been
they
doing
know
it
how to use the programs that they're assigned to. Because that's
Sure.
people at my work nowadays too. Is like they're a little bit older and the older generation. And all they do is click the icon, and that's about it. That's all they know how to do.
That's the best
mouse
I got.
and the keyboard to interact with this. But
that's
fixing something? What? What is Windows Explorer? What is App Task Manager? What is? How do you
They don't know how to. They don't know the things behind it. So you and I we don't have to use like these programs. Like, oh, I know what the program's trying to get to. Let's just cut to the chase in between, like Task Manager,
They
opening
make it
up
easy
stuff.
nowadays. You just type in the search bar, "I'm looking for my calculator," and I was like, dude, that's in your accessories. It's right there in the drop-down box. I've been doing this for 25 years.
Yeah, exactly. And
Coming out of my mom's womb.
yeah, exactly.
Clicking a
And
mouse.
is there anything that you and I don't understand, being the age that we are, that the younger generation will know better than us, like right now? For me, it's social media. I'm having to navigate social media, whereas my brother and my sister, who are years younger than me, like 7 years younger and less, they can figure this shit out real quick. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
I don't have problems with that.
I don't have problems with it, but I don't know all the little intricacies. Like, I know that they're present, but I haven't explored that. I got to be told that or figure it out, and it takes me a while to figure it out. It's not quick and instant. I haven't been growing up with all this stuff instantaneously.
I'd say I would. Like, I use Snapchat for a little bit. I can use Instagram. I just take a picture, change the filter, blah, blah, blah. You know, it wasn't that hard for me to figure out. Even Facebook, like, all the new stuff that they've done. Like, you know, post a story or update your info or, you know, do a background or, you know, set up your profile, share this video, share this text.
That's probably just a me thing. It's just,
you either use it or you're not using it. So,
and I haven't been. So that's...
You don't have the social media presence yet.
Working
Hold
on
up
it.
here!
Working on it.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Okay. The next topic is best decade of movies, and this could also be like best year of movies. I don't know about you, but I have a year that there was the best movies.
I have a decade, but it's not really the same. You know, it's like 98 to 2008.
Okay.
For me.
So let me guess why. So that's a good decade for movies, because my year would be 1999 for best decade of or best year of movies. 2008 was when Dark Knight came out, right? Was it 2008 or 2007?
Close around there, yeah.
So The Dark Knight
I'm not sure exactly, but yeah.
was awesome. And then 1998, I'm trying to think out what that you like that came out then. So I know Fight Club came out in 1999. The Matrix came out in 1999. Did Jurassic Park come out in 99 or 98?
Might have been 98.
Yeah, we're not going to verify it. We're not going to fact check anything. We're just gonna
conversationally
talk.
You guys just take us for our word.
You can search it yourself, bitch.
Pause. All right, we'll pause while you guys go Google this. The actual years of these movies.
Because I'm not going to. I got a computer right next to me. I'm not doing it.
Educated guesses. We're making some educated.
Yeah, we're just
educated men talking about movies.
Barely.
You talking about educated or men? Barely.
Both.
Oh, damn. Damn. Right under the bus with you, huh?
Yeah. What came out in 1998 that you're a fan of? Can you just tell me?
I didn't necessarily have a movie in mind.
Okay.
But I just wanted to encompass that for sure 99.
Yeah,
but
99 was the best year.
I knew there's got to be some good things in 98. Because I feel like that was the kind of the precursor to 99. And so you either have the bad movies that are in 98 that you had to, all right, well, that was a horrible year for movies. We got to do some crazy stuff. So they went to 99 and they got, these great concepts and great screenplays and stuff. But I wanted to go all the way to 2008 as well because I think that's when Iron Man came out. And that was like the beginning of...
That's the beginning of Marvel.
Of Marvel for me, yeah.
The movies that came out in 1998, Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
The Truman Show, The Big Lebowski,
yeah,
of course.
Google says A Bug's Life. That was a classic.
That was a good movie.
That was a classic. Movie
it doesn't stand out for me as a good movie.
No, every time I think, I'll constantly flashback to I could tell you what happens in that movie right now.
Blade.
Oof, it's a good movie.
There's Something About Mary.
I don't know that movie. There's Something About Mary.
That's a classic comedy.
I don't think I've seen it.
Ben Stiller. Cameron Diaz.
What does he do? What's his journey?
He jerks off in a bathroom and then shakes hands with a girl at the front, and she uses it as hair gel, and she sticks up her hair. You never seen that scene?
Don't think I.
It's like famous. It's like he's like, oh no, like it's just hair gel, like and she flicks up her hair. Oh, I need a little bit, like. And then he puts the dog totally gets like hit by a car or something like that, and like the dog's in a cast, and so he walks out of the veterinarian clinic with this dog in a cast, and he puts it up, and it's Mary's, the girl he likes. He puts it up on the car and he forgets about it. He's talking with her, and then they both get in the car and they drive off, and then something hits on the roof, and he looks back, he's like and he parks and he gets up out of the car and he grabs the dog off the top of the none of this is ringing a bell.
Nope.
Everybody listening to this, if there's any viewers or any listeners,
there's a lot of viewers. Dude.
There's a lot. There's hundreds out there.
Glass half full, okay? I know your glass is half empty right now, but think glass half full, okay?
So everybody knows what I'm talking about except for you right now. So.
But the next movie right after that is Mulan, and that may as well.
That's a classic.
We can stop now.
Yeah, American History X.
Enemy of the State. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
That's a good movie.
It's not. It's like a Rush Hour. Is that 98?
Rush Hour?
Wow.
Yeah.
Classics, dude.
That's a classic.
We're naming classics. So I'm glad I said 98.
American History X.
Let's go back one more year. What's 97?
97.
Because I will amend my decade if there's like a bombshell movie in there. But as long as I got Gladiator in there.
Titanic.
Oh God.
Ever heard of it?
Oh God.
Boogie
Starship
Nights?
Troopers.
Boogie Nights. The Fifth Element.
Ooh. Yeah. I think
Jackie Brown, which is Tarantino.
Liar. And there's Jurassic Park, right?
Yep.
The Lost World. Are you sure?
That's Jurassic Park.
Okay. Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Oh, Good Will Hunting is on there, dude.
That's a lot of good stuff.
I'm gonna amend. I'm gonna go 2008. Sorry, 98 to 2008.
Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery.
I want to rewatch some Austin Powers movies. I think the only real one that I remember is Goldfinger.
Contact. That's good sci-fi.
Yeah. Did I tell you to watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
007 with the best James
The world is
Bond.
not enough.
I think he's the best. What's his name?
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. To me, he's Bond. Your thoughts?
I'm a big Pierce Brosnan 007 fan. I'm pretty sure I've seen every single one of them. And I would say that he is the Bond to me, but that's because he's the Bond that I grew up with, and I feel like the generation before us is going to say Sean Connery, and the generation
Bond.
before them is going to say whoever the fuck that was.
Yep.
I don't even know that guy.
Yep.
But I think the best James Bond was probably
Daniel Craig?
Nope.
No?
What's his name?
Sean Connery? Yeah. Maybe. I've watched a bunch
I liked
of...
he was just so iconic as a person that him going into that role kind of elevated the
He's
Bond role.
He is like a classic, like, gentleman... I don't want to say player, but just kind of like a gentleman type of way of... He would hit on the girls, but not... He would talk to the women in such a way that he was professional about it, and he was
a gentleman.
an
about
icon.
It. Yeah. Whereas nowadays, like even Pierce Brosnan, I would say like he kind of filled the niche role of that time period of 007s. And what I mean by that is like during that time we were really concerned about being subtle about things, or women are really sexy and blah. I got to really like jive on this girl, blah blah blah. Whereas for me, watching some of Sean Connery's 007, he was more about being the spy, and he was a little bit more of like a normal guy or a normal like average person, instead of like Pierce Brosnan brought out this like, oh, look at my body, I'm good looking, I got the body to back it up, I'm an agent. I think Daniel Craig took that even a step further, was like, I'm a fucking model, but I'm also kind of intelligent, but just give me a gun and tell me to point it and shoot at something. Whereas Sean Connery always had that like, to me, a more realistic British spy. I can blend into a crowd. I know how to kill someone. I know how to talk to a woman. I know how to interrogate someone for information without them knowing, blah blah blah. So a little bit more like subtle spy stuff.
Daniel Craig kind of strikes me as like a blue collar Bond.
Okay.
Like almost from the streets of London type of lower class Bond who still acts the part. That's my impression. I don't know anything about his background. It's just I'm basing this off of his performance of watching all the movies.
Right. Have you seen all of his movies?
Yes.
All
of them.
Solstice and all that.
Yeah. The best one was...
Solace, not Solstice.
Solace. The best one was Casino Royale was the first one.
Okay.
The second best one was Skyfall.
Yep.
The third best one was... what was the other one? It was Quantum of Solace was the worst.
Yeah.
The third one was the one with the Day of the Dead in it. It was
Muertos.
Yeah. But what was that one called?
Oh, I actually don't know. It's the last one.
Yeah, Spectre. Yeah, Spectre was good.
Good call.
Good.
I wouldn't have remembered that.
Yeah, I remember. I got you.
And that's the last one we got, right?
Yeah.
We're waiting on the last. We're waiting on 25.
Yeah, there's Bond 25. Yeah, it's coming out. I'm ready for him to be done and someone.
This is the last one. Do we already know who the new Bond is? Or are they done with Bond?
People are talking about Idris Elba.
Oh yeah.
But God forbid he be black. So stupid.
What a bunch
I don't
of
care.
Nonsense,
I don't care.
dude.
That's
I wonder who what committee do you show in front of to audition for this?
I don't know.
Who controls?
I don't know. There's
the
a bunch
whole
of people out there that are Bond Corporation and they decide
a Bond Corporation? You really think so? No, I think it's a
um,
studio that owns the rights and whoever.
Yeah.
Some guy's like, hey, go interview that guy for Bond. If he's good enough, let me know.
There's Lost Highway. Have you ever seen that that movie?
Mm-mm.
So that
Lost Highway?
that is a movie from David Lynch.
Okay.
So it's scary. It's freaky.
Okay.
And
It's
do you
got
know,
jump scares, or is like a thriller tense thing?
no jump scares. It is like that eerie sense of build-up that's like a nightmare.
And then it delivers.
And it delivers, but it does that at small chunks throughout the movie, and it's like build-up, and the whole scene is building up, and they show you something horrible, and that's out of place. David Lynch is awesome at building that up. He's the one who did that show Twin Peaks.
Okay.
Which was a 90s show.
Yeah.
He did... Is it Blue Velvet? Have you seen any movies from David Lynch? Are you aware of this director?
I might have, but I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I've seen this movie by David Lynch. I would probably just recognize the title by itself.
Eraserhead?
Nope.
Do you know what that is or no?
Nope.
Okay. Blue Velvet.
Nope. Not by name alone, I guess.
Mulholland Drive.
Nope. Have you seen all these movies?
Yes.
Okay.
Inland Empire.
Nope.
I think that's it.
Those are all the major ones that you've seen that you think are worth mentioning about David Lynch?
Yes.
David Lynch, right?
Yes.
Huh.
He did Dune and The Elephant Man.
He did Dune.
Yeah. But Dune was a flop, so.
Yeah. Interestingly enough. Now it's a cult classic. Would you say?
I have not seen it.
You've never seen it before?
Mm-mm.
Do you plan on seeing it before you see the new one?
Sure, yeah.
You know they're making a new one?
Yeah. They have a really good cast for it.
Yep.
So
I'm excited about it too. Have you read the book before?
I have read the book, and I didn't like it that much.
How long ago did you read it?
Recent.
Recent?
Like, past 4 years, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just didn't think I've I've read it twice.
Oh, wow.
Because I thought about that. So I read it once.
A long time ago.
Once when I was 18, and then once a little bit more recently, and I was just like, I might have been 23, and I just didn't. Both times.
Did you finish it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both times, and just it. I get it, and it just didn't hit with me.
Okay.
Sometimes things hit, and I love sci-fi. I love fantasy. I read all the time.
Right.
Just not Dune.
I wonder. I actually don't know, but I wonder what the difference is between when Dune was written and was like first a published work, and what the time frame was with like Star Wars and that kind of like, or even like a Space Odyssey 2001.
Yeah.
Like what are how close together were all these different type of.
You think it was like a same idea?
Yeah, otherworldly aliens. We're somewhere else. There's life besides just Earth. Where I feel like all those are kind of related type movies and or works of fiction. Like what I wonder what they're how closely connected they are, or knitted a group as they were exposed to culture. I'm curious.
I get what you're saying. It's like, did they ever like play off each other's ideas?
Yeah. Or did one was one like the precursor to the other ones? Like, did Dune come out so much earlier than the rest that all of a sudden, hey, George Lucas came up with Star Wars because he kind of read some of these books, or Space Odyssey, the beginning.
I don't know. That might be
something to write. Yeah, something to explore in the future. Obviously, going into 99, you don't even have to look those movies up because he named some of the best ones.
Dude, there was a lot of good movies.
I need to rewatch Fight Club. Can you put that on the list?
Yeah.
Just rewatch Fight Club.
Just rewatch Fight Club. Fight Club. Because, like, everyone's seen Fight Club.
Yeah.
But
well,
you and I can talk about it.
I hope everyone's seen Fight Club.
If you haven't, you go see Fight Club. Like, what are you doing?
Should I tell this girl to go watch Fight Club?
Yeah. She hasn't seen Fight Club?
No.
Go tell her.
I don't think so.
Watch it with her.
She's not really a movie fan.
Good. You can show her why she should be. Jolie wasn't a movie fan.
It's a whole new world.
Shining, shimmering.
What do you think about the new Disney movies? Just a
so I watched Lion King. It was entertaining. It was good.
Still haven't seen that one.
It was.
See Little Mermaid? No, that's not out yet. What am I thinking of? Aladdin.
I didn't see Aladdin. Did you see Aladdin?
I did not.
Aladdin? I heard it was not bad.
I heard the same. I feel I have a hard time like enjoying movies that are now live action that are animated because there's I don't know, maybe the technology is good enough that you can like get across to me what you want to get across to me in the what's the like the setting, or just the like the, and it's live action versus cartoon. Cartoon, you could get away with like
cartoon. I don't mind
art.
if you're okay. So what you're looking at with cartoons is you're looking at what they want to present, and so the setting is as big or as small as they want to give it to you. And if it feels small, it's because it's 2D. So they're showing you a character, another character, maybe the character's a couple feet behind in the foreground, and then the backdrop is closed. Whereas in a live action film, like, everything's open. Everything. Unless you're in a cave or something, but then even then it has a closed depth, and that always feels fake or different. And if they're animating things, like I'm talking about Lion King now, if they're animating things, it just doesn't feel like the spacing is off. So a good movie that does this weird, but I still liked, is 300. 300, it does feel like everything's in a warehouse. It's not that it feels it's in a warehouse. I'll walk back on that a little bit. But something's off with... They don't feel like they're outside.
Okay.
When you're watching 300.
Right.
But the backdrop is they're showing outside.
In 300, you have like a really dark sky almost all the time. And then you got a sun kind of shining through the clouds. Or if you see anything off in the distance, it's always like overcast. And then you got kind of a ray of sunshine on the spot that they're talking about. Or if you look out into the sea, it's brewing a storm out there. Yeah. Otherwise, you don't see anything. Or you don't really see like above the people. And they keep the frame tight, I feel like, too. Like, if you remember, like, Leonidas's wife, or the queen, is outside in the field, and I think she's with their son or something, and you just have this, there's like 4 colors in like 20, 30 seconds of a scene. And you got the brown, you got the gray, and you got like a white, and then maybe like a jewelry that's on her or something like that. But those are the only colors. Even the backdrop, it's all just a mesh of like, a brown and gray, and you got the wheat with its gold, and a ray of sun on those 2 characters. And you're right that it's like, it doesn't feel open. You're like, I don't care what's going out underground. I'm focused on what these people are doing right in front of me. Yeah. So it's interesting to think about that not, as an animated feature where they get to put those backgrounds in. They just CGI that background on their green screen.
It feels right. It feels like contained and good, and that's what you lose with live action. It's that it's a person, and we know that if you're seeing a person lives in an environment. The environment is supposed to have that feeling of closed or open. And when you're watching animation, people have that restriction, but animated figures don't. And so they're living in their world. And I can separate, that's a whole nother world. And I like watching these classic Disney movies that keep it within, like The Little Mermaid, they have, or Finding Nemo or something. They're in their own little environment, and part of the fun is watching the setting. Yeah, because it was created. All of it was generated.
Did you ever think, like, Game of Thrones, that looks like England right there, or that looks like New Zealand?
Game of Thrones did pretty well for a TV show on keeping you in the feel of it, but it felt like a set. Like I'm watching a set.
Interesting.
That's just me viewing it as a person who's constantly, whenever I watch stuff, thinking about how did they make this, how did they do this. That's why I like to be wowed by high budget movies, because it's like, I literally don't know how they did this. This is awesome. Like Inception did that, where how did they shoot some of the scenes in Inception?
Ooh, I could never think like that for that movie. There are way too many things going on in that movie, and I love it.
I love it too.
God bless Christopher Nolan.
Oh, yeah.
There are way too many things for me to think about, like the logistics of how... Sure, if I wanted to go back and analyze it, but the first time I'm watching it, none of that stuff is like on my mind at all. I was merely involved and 100% committed to watching. I'm so lost right now. What's going on?
What's the other one? That he directed, the one in space.
The Dark Knight? Oh. Christopher Nolan?
Yeah. The other famous one, not Inception, but the...
In space?
Yeah, it's the one with the black hole, and they land on a planet that's all water.
Oh,
Interstellar. Yeah. That's a better representation. I don't know how they shot some of the scenes in Interstellar. I remember...
Giant green screens. That's all.
Sure, but it felt real. It didn't feel like a green screen. It felt so. Whatever they did,
Those are
was
literally otherworld movies.
yes, yeah.
Or if they were shooting in Iowa in cornfields, it was in Iowa.
It didn't feel like it. Yeah. It felt good. It felt different. Yeah.
What an amazing movie. Top 10.
Oh.
Ooh, we'll do a top 10.
Top 10. We'll just write that
top
down.
10
Top
movies.
10 movies. We're going to talk a lot about movies in this podcast.
Dude, we'd really both enjoy movies.
Yes. And we
so
have good insights.
Like, yeah, exactly. That's like something that we're kind of going to be strong in the force. Trying to like, we have a lot of insight or a lot of like hopefully interesting facts and tidbits that we're not just regurgitating or that we're bringing that is just our opinion. And so I think there will be enough content coming in the future for us to be continually do this instead of like, oh, one and done, I'm out, pilot didn't fire.
No.
Committing to 20 episodes.
It's worth talking about why we're doing this podcast. Just to...
You want to brush on it? We'll finish on that.
We'll finish on that. Okay. Yeah. It's just worth doing because you and I could talk about stuff that we want to talk about in a conversation, us hanging out anyway. So we might as well put a mic in front of us, make it
do
content.
A little prep, sit down,
make like I just wrote down
smash out 2 hours. Yeah.
A list of topics that would be interesting to you and me to talk about. Like, right. I know I wrote some of these topics thinking I could just get something good out of Corey. Like, I know I could. And we also have that connection where we're sharing. Another big thing is we're doing it face to face, whereas
a lot of podcasts are like over the internet. Yeah.
What? You miss out on so much. Like facial cues or like, okay, you
just
go ahead. Or,
yeah. Or you can sign to people so you can tell them what to do. Like, hey, don't look at the screen. Right
exactly. Now. Yeah. Or whatever it is.
Yeah. I gotta pee. Hold. Keep talking. I gotta
pee. I'm gonna be right back. Yeah, I gotta do this thing. Yeah.
Just write on a board. Here's my break time.
No, but why would you want... what do you think is the benefit of having a podcast? Besides it's just fun.
That would be the only thing.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing for me is this is fun. I like to see where it goes. I like to see if I enjoy it. I like to see if I'm good at it. And
we're practicing. That's the thing.
I would never like say no to anything. I always want to at least give it a chance, either trying it or, doing some research on it. And I've listened to enough podcasts that I feel like it's just other people just like us doing the same exact thing. They're talking about something that they enjoy or that they're informed about or that they want to be informed about. Or there's so many different variants of where a podcast can go or what area of life that you want to share with other people. And podcasts by yourself are probably not as much fun. And it's probably a lot more work than... you really want to put in unless you have really something like incredible to share. I know we have something incredible to share between the two of us, and I think two will definitely do better than one.
Yeah. It's a good way to capture a friendship that's been 9 years in the making or 10 years in the making or wherever it's been, into just a couple conversations, because a lot more comes out than just what we're talking about.
Actually 11 years.
11 years.
I'm thinking about it now because I graduated high school in 2009 and your sister was dating my brother in 2008.
Yeah. Wow.
So we knew each other in 2008 and we probably met before that when we went to the Spencerville.
Yeah. So it's just cool to encapsulate and I think other people would find this.
We'll put it to record. And then in 100 years, it'll be
when
an
we're rich and famous.
Library.
Yeah, people will find it and go, "Oh, it was a cool first episode."
Dude, they had movies in the 90s.
Whoa, we learned so much.
We just put this VR headset on now. We just put these contacts in and we watch them. Yeah,
it gets imported in my brain. The whole 3-hour movie. Yeah. All right. Any last final thoughts? No. You want to read the sponsors?
Get money.
What sponsors? No. That's incoming.
Sponsored by.
Let's make us. What do we want to be sponsored by? I'm drinking.
Sponsored by plastic pencils.
Plastic pencil, dude.
Instead of lead, we use.
Oh no! Fuck that! No, I don't want to use that. I like regular pencils.
Okay.
Coffee. I've been drinking the Cafe Bustelo, the little Hispanic coffee. Oh, throw a sponsorship. I'll sell some Cafe Bustelo.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Costs $2.50. The yellow thing. the yellow.
The grounds?
Yeah, it costs $2.50 at Walmart for a big thing of
Right.
Yeah.
Why is it $2?
It's cheap coffee.
It doesn't, but it doesn't taste cheap. It's like one of your new favorites.
It tastes good.
You think it's better than Starbucks brand?
Yeah, Starbucks is shit. How about that?
Damn, we're not getting sponsored by Starbucks.
Nope.
They're burning our bridges before we can get there.
Yeah.
Man. Come on.
Yeah, I'll accept any. I'll start talking good about Starbucks if they throw a sponsorship our way.
You'll do anything for what?
For a sponsorship?
Oh. Anything?
Magic. No, of course not. Fuck that. Magic the Gathering. They could sponsor.
Wizards could sponsor.
Wizards. Oh, dude, I'll start talking Magic content
Magic
the whole
Gathering
time.
any day of the week.
Yeah. Would you stop cursing if they started giving you money?
Yeah. Oh, that was too quick.
That was a quick answer.
Depends on
I
how much
think
money.
about it. I think about it.
Yeah, it depends on how much money.
How much per episode? $100?
And I had not curse.
Yeah.
What if I? I guess we.
If you actually do, you scrub it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burp.
Beep.
What? Stop the soundboard every time.
Just say, what? Yeah.
What the yeah?
Yeah.
Are you talking about? I hate this. Yeah.
A couple podcasts I listen to. There's one in particular. They can't curse on it, so they call it clown horn, and they actually have like the sound of a clown horn, and they call it "I don't want this clown horning president doing this anymore," and they'll say it. It's like it's become a meme. It's so funny. Yeah. Okay. All
I
right.
don't think cursing is that bad.
No, it's not bad, but it's bad
as long as people are comfortable with it. I mean, we're not gonna like.
We're underground.
We're not gonna be sailors or anything on here. But
no, we want to put this out on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes and stuff.
Everywhere. We're everywhere.
Everywhere.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you learned something, or if not, there was a. Hopefully, we entered.
Entertained.
Hopefully, we got into one of those Google search queues, or
Yeah.
not Google. What is it called? Like recent searches.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we made it into one of your phone's recent searches. We'll come up with a title sooner or later.
Yeah.
Once we figure out the direction.
More to come.
Yeah. Have a good day, night. It's night here, so have a good night, guys. I'm gonna have a good night.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Get it, press stop.